Find your pasta, no clue, far from the land. Tottenham stranded, in shadows, no man's land. Lost on the pitch, echoes in the night. Fans screaming loud, no end in sight. Shift the blame like drifting sand. Promises empty, no steady hand. Wandering clueless in the football mist. Wishing for a twist, but nightmares persist. Shift the blame like drifting sand. Promises empty, no steady hand. Wandering clueless in the football mist. Wishing for a twist, but nightmares persist. Where's the Leo we waited in vain? Pains us deeply every season the same. No direction, stumbling blind. Tottenham's lost its mind. Speechless, impressed, they're at the ground. No solutions, nowhere to be found. Fans on the side, hearts turned to stone. Stadium echoes a lonesome drone. Whispers in the air, they speak of change. Hope on the horizon feels so strange. Question marks in every wayward pass, and close the future fading fast. Where's the Leo we waited in vain? Pains us deeply every season the same. No direction, stumbling blind. Tottenham's lost its mind. Where's the Leo we waited in vain? Pains us deeply every season the same. No direction, stumbling blind. Tottenham's lost its mind.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away? Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away?
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Tottenham away yet again. Another loss, another bang average performance, and yet another poor stat to add to all the Ange misery. Listen, we had a full strength team out there tonight. No excuses. We were rubbish in the first half. We were a bit better in the second half, but Chelsea were the better team. It's beyond the joke now. The substitutions were reckless. And quite frankly, ANGEBALL doesn't exist. It's a myth. Full strength ANGEBALL 0, Chelsea 1. Rubbish. Absolute rubbish. We're lucky it was 1-0, honestly. And look, there's a lot of bits to get into, a lot of comments that Ange made before the game and after the game, the cupping of the year. We've got to discuss that. But Eugene, how you doing, brother? You okay?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you, though, which is weird.
Bring me in and out again. Let's see whether it works.
Okay.
One more time.
Now,
I'll hop in. Yeah, I'll come back in again. Yeah, hold on.
All right, jump off and come back. Guys, honestly, I sat there doing a watch along, and the first half was rubbish. Absolute crap. Passing out from the back, terrible. The amount of times we kicked the ball off the pitch, can't even make a pass, just kick it off the pitch. Our possession was poor. Playing out from the back under pressure made no sense. Chelsea could have been 1-0 up in 54 seconds. One ball over the top. We've been watching Spurs now for 2 years with Ange. How many times have we said one ball over the top? One ball over the top. He hasn't rectified it. As soon as Van de Ven and Romero come back, high line, one ball over the top. It was a calamity, a ricochet of errors, and it comes off the post. Ange is crap. He's rubbish. People that defend him, they're not Spurs fans. They're saboteurs. People who defend Anne are not football fans. They don't understand what they're watching. They're so emotionally attached. They're so submerged in just wanting to prove themselves right. They all got it wrong. This guy is rubbish, man. I can't believe what I'm watching. Eugene, that was a poor, rubbish performance. And you know what? Let me show you the stats. Let me show you the stats of this game. Okay. So the possession was split 50-50. They had 11 shots. We had 8. We had 2 on target the whole game. It wasn't until the 60th minute we got a shot on target. They had 3 clear-cut chances. We had 2. And one of ours was dubious anyway. Honestly, we didn't deserve to win that game. If we grabbed the draw at the end, it would have been a snatch and grab. This Chelsea team has not been good for a while. They have not been good for some weeks. Spurs rock up, and I just feel we still play out from the back when there's moments you just got to clear it. There's too much pressure at times. Just clear it, and we gift the ball either back to them or we create scenarios where they can score. We still can't defend corners. We still can't defend crosses. We can't defend set pieces. We haven't been coached to defend. The defenders have not improved a single bit under this manager and the coaches. And now we're rubbish going forward. The transitions are poor. The counterattacks are poor. The squeezing the team high up the pitch and creating chances. Eugene, we're a very average football team, full strength tonight. Look at the starting lineup. Vicario, Spence, Romero, Van der Ven, Udogie, Bergvall, Bentancur, Madison, Odobert, Slanky, Son. There is no one in that team there that would get in that wasn't there tonight other than Kulu. Right? That was a full-strength team. Eugene, the manager's got to go, surely. Surely Ange has got to be sacked. It cannot continue like this anymore.
Stel, I came on your show 2 months ago, right? I already told you, right? We'll be out of the 2 cups and we'll still be in Europa League and we'll still have Ange there. Ange is hanging on the Europa League, we'll call lifeline at the moment, right? The league, we've really, to tell the truth, right? Haven't you gone through this cycle over and over again? From after the first 10 games, right? When Levy came out and said we got our Tottenham back, right? I'm the only one who's shouting, I don't want this Tottenham because this Tottenham's going to be shit again. And we've been shit since that first 10 games that he's been in. And we've been regressing ever since, right? Even the beginning of the season, right? End of last season when the people are telling me, oh, Ange will get his players. The summer transfer window will be wonderful. When we saw the players came in, right? We knew we were going to be shit, right? And apart from improving, we've been regressing, right? We give the ball away so often. Basic football mistakes. And it's basic football common sense, right? That I see. I'm not even Ange out. Now, you know me, right? I've never said I'm Ange out because I'm Ange don't care, right? I see Ange as a deflection, right? And a distraction for Levy, right? That's what I've been saying. But when it comes down to football, if the fans can't see that we can't play football, our players play without an intelligence on the pitch. We give the ball away. We pass the ball away, right? When we attack, we are toothless, right? And to tell the truth, right? Sanchez.
I think you just got levied. I think you just got levied. I don't know what happened there. Come back, Eugene. I've got a super chat from William Leone. He says, I never thought I'd hate a Spurs manager. Ange out. He's rubbish. He's rubbish. Listen, Lange out, Levy out, Enoch out. They've all got to go. They've all got to be kicked out of this club. It cannot continue anymore. The chairman's a joke. The owners are treacherous. Lange is out of his depth. Munn, waste of space. Ryan Mason, why is he at the club? Jedinak, he shouldn't be at the club. There's so many that have got to go. It's not just Ange, but look, we can't carry on with this manager, man. We can't. It's not working. We're embarrassing. Look, guys. Let me just show you this. Let me show you this before we get into the game. And it's unbearable, man. Right? Points per game. Right? The 19 game points per game stat I sent a while ago. First 19 games, 1.89 points per game. The next 19 games, 1.58. Now, the last 19 games, 1.26. Every 19 games we play, the points per game is tumbling. We're currently 11 games into a batch, 58 to 76, and we're currently at 0.91 points per game. Guys, this is insane. This is diabolical.
Still,
Top flight loss percentage. 1 minute, 1 minute. Top flight loss percentage. Okay. These are the worst years in history at Spurs. 1913, we're going back over 100 years, 52.6%. 1935, 52%, we got relegated. 2004, 1977, 1975, 1911, 50% loss rate. We got relegated in 77. If Spurs lose this match, which we did, it'll be 53.3% loss rate. This is our worst loss rate in 143 years since the club was incorporated. What in the actual fuck are people defending this manager? People who defend him, they're out of their freaking minds, man. They're deluded. They hate the club. They want us to be obliterated. Listen, guys, we didn't even look like we were going to win tonight. We didn't even look like we were going to win.
Didn't I 2 months ago, right? In October, right? I already been shouting that we are in a relegation battle. But we are lucky because we have 3 more worse off teams than us, right? At the bottom of the table, right? So that's the thing, right? All the numbers are pointing to we're fucked. We're already fucked. We know that, right? That's the problem now, is that why the right? And I've been saying this for so long. It's manager PTSD. You get what I'm saying? We're afraid to sack managers, right? So we're going to support him until the end. So we're going to hope that this guy is going to turn it around.
Levy got him.
It's the second time. It's the second time he's got him tonight. Michael, man, look, the points per game, every 19 games, we're dropping. We're now at a ridiculous, below 1 point per game now. In terms of the entire history of the club, we are now on course to record the most amount of losses in the history of Tottenham Hotspur.
Mate, what can I tell you? 140 years ago, right? The guy with the same surname as me, was French, was in France, right? I think it was after Napoleon Wars, so he was so he was in Poland, but he was still French, right? So yeah, there is that. I guess like 140 years ago, I'm not sure if Germany was, I think, at that point. I think they were still separated into all the little countries. Poland didn't exist
West and
140 years ago. What else is there? There was civil war in United States, if my mind serves me right?
Yeah, north east south.
Yeah, I think there were still steam engines everywhere. We didn't have planes. We barely had guns, like guns as in like we have now, right? This was 140 years ago, right? And this is the worst ever we did in terms of win percentage. Lose, like the worst lose percentage ever, right? And we still have guys defending this manager. We still have people coming up with excuses. Dan, you will hear the same thing I said on Savas right now, right? But we still have managers defending this shit. What is there to defend, right? I don't care about the excuses because everything about Ange right now is just finding more and more ridiculous excuses, right? Give me something that you see in those performances that gives you hope that he can change whatever is going on with us right now. Give me something. Tell me one thing that you saw in today's performance or any performance in the past 5 months that gives you hope that this will change. Because there is nothing. I kid you not, that there is nothing when I watch this team that gives me hope. You said about 0.9 points per game, which by the way will get lower in the last 19 games, right? Because we still have to go to Liverpool, Aston Villa, West Ham, Wolves. We play Forest at home. We play Brighton at home. We play Southampton at home, which I bloody hope we will win. And the last game, I don't even know. Crystal Palace at home, I think, who will probably beat us, right? Guys, 0.9 points per game is 34 points in a season, if you stretch it for the whole season, right? There were teams getting relegated with that, right? The only reason we are not in a relegation battle is because Ipswich, Southampton, and Leicester are fucking dreadful.
Yeah.
They are so bad. And by the way, 2 of them beat us at home.
Yes.
2 of them beat us at home. Right?
And one of them was their first league win. Don't forget that.
Yeah, and one of them was their first league win, and they are on 3 or 4 right now, I think.
You know what?
Listen, go on, Dan.
Stell,
Go on.
Did you watch his press conference?
No, I had to set up for the stream.
You're gonna have a laugh.
I came straight from my watch along into this stream here. So
I mean,
Go on, tell us, Dan. Tell us.
Why I was just on Sav's show with Mike and that. Started watching the press conference. So I got my TV in the background. I'm only on my iPad. I can't remember exactly what, like word for word, for what he says, but comes out with things like starts telling the press reporter. Your lack of knowledge of words, your lack of knowledge of football. Yeah, okay. VAR is killing the game. We know that and everything. And then starts going on about, oh yeah, but the supporters are going to love this because it's drama at the club and that's what they like and everything else. If I heard it right, what he said on that bit, because I didn't earpiece in at the same time. Mate, this fella has got to go. He has got to go. And the only thing I can think of is what I just said on Sav's channel. Is it just the fact that Levy has given Ange enough rope to hang himself? And what I mean by that is that Levy can sort of turn around and say, well, look at the crap I have to put up with. You're now putting up with that crap. The fact that even Son is meant to have turned around and basically told the Spurs fans to shut up. And he's just giving Ange enough rope to hang himself now so you can say, right, I gave you your attacking football. I backed him up with 400 million. He got the players that he wanted, so he says. And I also hung on to him when a lot of people said get rid of him because I usually get rid of them too early. What more do you want me to give you? Is that what Levy is trying to pull off here?
no, that's what I've been saying. Then Ange is a deflection and distraction for Levy. He's been that for so long. When he came out and said we got our Tottenham back, right? That was the nail the last nail in that coffin that you're going to hammer in, you can say no. And I saw that after those 10 games, right? That's why I've been Ange don't care. Because all this, right, is smoke and mirrors all over again, right? We're going through this, right? But the only positive thing, right, that Ange has created, right, is the protest is much bigger now, right? And he's gone against the fans. He's the only one manager I've seen, right, in Premier League, I think, right, going after the fans. And after when he goes after the fans, the chairman go after the fans too. So why can't the fans see this, right?
Listen, Eugene. Let me listen. The same fans that made videos telling me that Odebert, what a signing, tactical videos. The same fans that made videos in January, Mateus Tell fixes Spurs' attack. The same fans that said, look at the amazing youngsters Spurs are building. The same fans that said, ANGEBALL's different gravy. I can't wait for when the trophies come. I'll be here for it. The same fans that have bigged up and kissed ass. The same fans who have manipulated the fan base with idiotic YouTube videos, nonsensical analysis. None of them are qualified to be making those videos. The same fans that have given Levy every opportunity in the world and defended him at every stance. You now have the club you deserve. You now have got what you deserve. Because when we, us here, and a few others said, this manager's out of his depth, this chairman's got to go, this is the worst board in history, these signings aren't good enough, Lange is a joke, why is Mason still here? When we said it, Poison, Toxic, Arsenal fans, do you know what? Now talk to us. Because tonight, wait, Eugene, tonight, beg your pardon, someone tell me what our style of play is. Someone tell me what kind of football we're trying to play. Because I haven't got a clue. And it's not just tonight. It's been going on and on and on. We said this 10 months ago. I went on We Are Tottenham TV. I said this 10 months ago, man. This fan base needs to get to that protest on Sunday and cause absolute, not chaos, but make so much noise and disruption on this ownership that something has to give. It's up to the fans. Fans need to take action. No more excuses.
I'm going to say this too, right?
This fan base needs to wake up. It really does.
Who accepts this, right, and hasn't woken up, right? And the day, right, when we get relegated, will you wake up? This is what we're heading into. This is what it's like looking at. Look at the stats. Look at the numbers. Look at everything that's been put up. But I understand this fan base too. We've got a big bunch of our fan base who's got manager PTSD because Vivi has created this situation again. But when it comes down to the football, the style of football that we have is that we have no style. We play without our brains. We play without our eyes. We just cross the ball for the sake of crossing the ball. We don't see.
Levy created it. Levy created it, but the fans are allowing it. And Ange, like we said all along, he's a yes man. He's nothing more than part of the con. Him, Lange, and Levy are the three con men. This is the biggest con this fan base has ever been fed. I've never seen anything like this. We've had some rough years and some dodgy moments. This is next level shit. Every week, lose. Every week, lose. You wait till Van der Ven and Romero come back. You wait till they'll come back, and you see how we play 54 seconds in. 54 seconds in, one ball over the top. And they're back.
Yeah. And the worst part, right? It's not even a loss. The worst part is not even a loss. The worst part is, right, we don't show intensity. We don't show intelligence. We don't show passion. We don't show heart. Yes, even though when we were, remember the Aussie days and the Aussie Adilas, right?
They're not playing for Ange, mate. They're not playing for Ange. They don't believe in the system. They don't believe in the system. They don't believe in it. It doesn't work.
That they would rather lose 6-3 than win 1-0 in a scrappy Conte game. That is when you know the shit has hit the fan.
Dan, we were 5-1 down to Liverpool, and the fans were singing Ange Postecoglou. And now this is happening. Oh, but why is this happening? Because you were cheering the team and you were cheering the manager on when we were getting battered 5-1. You should have all said Ange out, Ange out. We should have got rid of him in January, like we said. Bring in a proper manager that can save the season. Now the season's finished, man. It's finished.
Guys,
season's been finished for a long time.
You want to hear a fun fact, right? There were seasons in the Premier League history where teams were getting relegated with 42 points.
Yes.
West Ham in 2003 got relegated with 42 points.
We're lucky 30, the bottom three.
We are on 30.
Michael, we're lucky.
I said that earlier, right?
We're lucky the bottom three are horrendous. Let me bring him down because he hasn't spoken yet. In fact, let me just do a couple of super chats and I'll bring him down.
Sorry, Dan. I just had to get that in.
It's all right. Evening.
No, you're right, mate. Evening, Dan. Dan, 1 second. Let me do these super chats and I'll come straight to you. A big up William, who said, I never thought I'd hate manager as much as Ange. Get him out. Futures Bright, Futures Lily White Coys, channel member. Thank you so much. A user says, Stel, Ange for another season or Europa Cup. Ange for another season. I'll always take a trophy, mate. You know me by now. Yeah, I always take a trophy.
I agree.
Sanilla32 says our players basically shit themselves when they have the ball. We've gone from controlling games to relying on. We've never controlled a game, Sanilla. We've never controlled a game, bro. To rely on one or two moments in a.
Started grilling at me when I was saying we did not control that game against Arsenal. We did not control that game against.
We don't control games.
We just played the way they wanted us to play with possession of the ball because they knew they could catch us. But no, how many for months on end? I had dickheads going on and on and on at me, but we're controlling the games. We weren't. They were just letting us play that way.
All them fans that were chasing likes and subscribes and chasing to be liked, they're all exposed now. All of them. They've got nowhere to hide. They need to just swallow it up and get to that protest. Listen, Sniller, I'm sure you were at the protest last time. I hope you're there again, buddy. Jason H with a super sticker, big up to you. Dan, mate. What are we even, guys? What are we watching? Like, what is the tactic? What's the thinking? How did we approach that game? I couldn't make sense of it. I just sat there going, "This is rubbish. We're kicking the ball off the pitch. We're just kicking it off the pitch." Like,
Look, I've calmed down a bit now, but I was fuming watching that game. That is the worst performance of the season. And how can it get that awful? You got all your players back. It's a derby. And that's what we put on for the fans. Unacceptable. I mean, guys, I haven't got too long because the missus is going to drag me off soon. I know. But
Yeah, I have to go.
Mate, she's doing you a favour. She's doing you a favour.
but I wanted to come on and say my bit. But look, no, we're in trouble, massive trouble. You know, we've seen the Levy financial statement. Nothing's happening in the summer. We're not spending any money. Ange, I can't see how Ange survives. He can't, surely not. We're on course to 21 defeats. I can see us beating Southampton, and that's it really. I don't think we're going to beat anyone else. We're going to go out in a whimper in the Europa League against Frankfurt, because if we play like that, imagine that, playing like that in Frankfurt, we'll be 5 or 6. We'll be gone. The players are clearly given up. Yeah, they don't have a clue. They rallied themselves a bit in the second half, but that wasn't the manager. That was just them playing for a bit of pride. But what a god-awful performance. And has anybody seen us play that bad in a London derby before? No. At least we show something. But that's got to be up there.
I don't think that's been our worst game of the season. But for the sheer fact there was no heart and passion in it, and it was a London derby, I'll go with that one. But the fact is, I don't think that was the worst performance. There's probably, if we go through the list, there's probably a few more that we can name. But the fact that we're all sitting here saying, well, we should or will beat Southampton, and then questioning ourselves about Wolves and the other clubs that we're going to play, whereas there's other ones, we'll probably get a kick in anyway. We usually do. Just about says everything. I mean,
Dan, most
without
probably
a
we lose
question,
to
yeah.
Southampton.
Who on here is actually 100%? I know you can never give 100% fact, yeah, so I'll change that. Who is actually seriously confident that we will go and do Southampton? I think we will, but that doesn't.
Of course not. Of course not.
Well, we could lose it. We lost to Ipswich, didn't we? We lost to Leicester. So
We haven't beaten any of the bottom
Southampton-
three this season. We haven't
Southampton
beaten any of the
beat
bottom
Bournemouth,
three
right?
this season.
Southampton beat Bournemouth just yesterday or 2 days ago.
Actually, we beat Southampton 5-0 earlier in the season. That's a lie. We beat Southampton 5-0.
No, we beat. Yeah, that's the.
We beat Southampton 5-0 and Ipswich 4-1. So yeah, but listen, fuck's sake, these are the worst sides in the history of the league.
I know, man,
I don't care that I don't care. We could have shafted Southampton 10-0 and I wouldn't give him any credit for that. Seriously, they are this bad.
Mate,
but you know what what the funniest thing is, still, right? We will be the reason why they won't beat that derby record, because they will beat us on the weekend and they will go past 12.
I think they already beaten the derby record, because they beat Bournemouth on
No,
Wednesday.
it was Ipswich, Eugene. Ipswich beat Bournemouth. Southampton drew with.
mate, this manager is a buffoon, right? He's an absolute buffoon. The whole game, you can see what Chelsea are trying to do. Get it wide, go slightly forward, cross it in. And if it doesn't work, go the other side. And they kept switching it like this. What do you do?
Over the top as well.
Listen, over the top, everyone does to us, yeah? What do you do? I'll tell you what you do. You drop your two forwards deeper, double up in the wide areas, make it difficult for them to get through. That's what you do. And then when you win possession, instead of Solanke playing as a fucking holding middle game, keep him up top. There's your out ball. Or you then counter, but when you counter, get the ball in quick to the middle area. But Solanke was never there. And never once tried to adapt to that. And I'm sitting there going, surely you've got to do that. Because Chelsea weren't brilliant. Chelsea played well. They weren't brilliant. We could have got into them. Chelsea, we could have got into them. But he didn't adapt it. And he allowed them to not have to stress too much about us. And by the way, I'm gonna call this out. I don't like doing this, but I'm gonna do it. Soul Boy, you are an absolute twat. Every week you come on here with the same bullshit. Stop watching the channel. Unsubscribe. Honestly, I'm sick to death of having to deal with idiotic comments like this. You're the same idiot that goes around saying, I heard the Levy out chants in the away end. I heard the Levy out chants. Who do you think does the Levy out chants? It's people like us that pay to go to the games and do it. So on the one hand, you want to tell us how great it is when the fans chant Levy out. Then on the other hand, you're having a go at fans like me for going to the games. I go there to protest, man. If I give up my ticket, you get a Levy inner. It's 10 times worse. And why should I give up my ticket? Why should I give up my club for this awful owner? I want him out. And when he does go, I want my ticket to be there and watch the new era. So if you're going to keep throwing this at me, mate, honestly, unsubscribe. You're a waste of space doing this. You achieve nothing like this. I've answered this 1,000 times. Lubo, he's got a season ticket. Is he a problem? Is he a problem as well? Ben and Sim, they're Levy out. Are they a problem? They've got a season ticket. Danny Kiriakou, he goes to the games. He's a season ticket holder. Is he a problem as well? You can't just go after fans that are Levy out because we've got season tickets. I'm not leaving. Levy can leave. And if you're going to keep throwing this mud at me, honestly, sling your rook and support. You're doing no favors, man. You're doing us and the movement no favors. Honestly, I don't understand fans like this. Every week I have to answer the same question. It does my head in.
I get it, yeah, but the comment that is made, I understand why that comment is made. If you're so into getting Levy out of this club and don't want to put a penny towards it, then why the fuck do you go and buy a season ticket? I can understand that side, but the difference is on this, I can also understand your side. There is two sides to this one, but it'll be the one that has never had a season ticket that won't understand or get your side.
Anyone who watches the games feeds Levy money, right? If you watch it on Sky Sports, if you watch it on TNT Sports or Peacock or anything, that money goes back to the club. The number one source of revenue for this football club is TV licensing and media. Stop watching Spurs then. People like Soulboy watch Spurs, so he's feeding Levy. And you know what he's going to say to me? Oh, but I watch it on a dodgy stream. I'm not going through my life watching dodgy streams. Sorry, mate. If you want to go through life watching dodgy streams, have a great life. I'm not doing that.
I don't do dodgy streams too, right? But
Yeah,
guys,
I also pay my for my provider. Like,
so if you pay to watch Spurs, that media money ends up back at Spurs, in some form of a license subscription. And if you look at the accounts, the number one revenue stream for Spurs is media, TV, licensing deals. You are funding him more than me. Like, Jesus Christ. Honestly, I'm not answering this question ever again. That's the last time I answer it. But at the end of the day, people like Soulboy, rather than coming together, they want to divide those that want the owner out. I've never understood it.
Soulboy most probably is a Levy intro or some shit like that. So, right, don't get too wound up about it, right? Yeah, there are a lot.
It winds me up. It winds me up because it's fans like me that have got us to this stage where fans have had enough. It's fans like me that have been banging the drum for 5 years, and they come for people like me.
5 years too, right? I've been doing that too, right? But the thing is that,
there's 80,000 people on the waiting list. 80,000 people on the waiting list. If anyone who's Levy out gives up their season ticket, automatically a Levy inner now replaces us. It won't change a thing. It won't fix anything. Unless all 60,000 give up their season tickets, which will never happen. It's not going to work. The only thing that will work is protests and mass scale protesting inside the stadium. It's the only way. We're not going to get a boycott. You need at least 10,000 to boycott for it to have an impact. Guys, we are not going to get 10,000 fans boycotting. It just, unfortunately, we don't have that fan base. So all we've got left. Listen, if you think there's another way, tell me. If you think there's another way, tell me. But I don't think there is another way because our fans don't want it. They don't want to do it.
Yeah, our fans don't want to do it. Yeah, I've been saying, right, we got bourgeois fans. So they are willing to take the mediocrity and just go there for a day out, right? The football doesn't matter. It's more about the emotions and the feelings. But that's their right to have that. So I'm not going to go against fans or anything like that. But what I'm going to say is very simple. If you have football sense and you see the style that we've been playing, right, and I don't even know what kind of style. I remember about 2 or 3 months ago, when Matt said, we've got a new formation called a donut formation, right? When you were showing some pictures, and that's what we look like. But the problem is that our fan base is our fan base, right? I'm not going to say whether you're a good fan, a bad fan, or whatever. Everyone is a fan, right? But the only thing is that what Stel said earlier is like this. If you accept this, right, in the end of the day, right, if something happens, right, you deserve what you get. And it brings us along in that journey of deserving what we get. If we win a trophy, we'll all celebrate together. If we get relegated, we'll all go down together, right? There's no difference. Stel will be in Premier League as a Spurs fan, and you will be in the relegation. We're all in the same boat. We're all in the same boat. All I'm going to say this is, right, guys, it's about going to be 6 a.m. here in Malaysia. I'll be here just for a short while. Guys, I'm in Malaysia, right? And on Sunday, I'll be doing the protest along again. It will start about 12 p.m. your time and 8 p.m. my time on my channel, Spursvision TV, and I'll be doing it for the international fans, right? And if any of you are there who wants to share the live stream while I'm doing my show, I think TJ and Has and Elijah will be on, right? So don't forget, guys, if you're in the UK, right, please go, if you can, go and support the protest. If you're in London, you have to go and support the protest, right, to show your displeasure, right? And don't forget, right, guys, subscribe to Spursvision TV, right? I think I'm off about 40 over subscribers to 600 or whatever. I'm gonna plug my channel once in a while, right, Stel?
Mate, you can all plug your channels here. I don't mind. I'm sure I've got a Spursvision little banner somewhere. Let's have a look. I normally have everyone's.
Guys,
Yeah, there you go. Follow Spursvision TV. Follow Eugene. Make sure you show him some love. And then once you're done there, go and follow the Spurs Dan list. Show him some love as well.
I've got to go still. I'm being called. Time's up tonight. Football time's over.
All right. Take care. Right.
Yeah.
Take care,
Subscribe
guys.
to Dan, everyone. Subscribe to Dan.
I'm
Check out Dan.
See you Sunday.
Sunday.
See you Sunday, my man. See you Sunday. Make sure you
Okay,
subscribe to the Hotspur Hood as well. Hotspur Hood. Don't forget Dan. And when you're done with all of that, get over to the 2 Marks because I'll be on their channel tomorrow. Make sure you check out the 2 Marks at 2 p.m. tomorrow. And if you've got any time left, Sava, because he sent everyone over for the Sava raid. Big up to him. Thank you so much. And listen, and everyone else in the community.
50 subscribers.
Everyone else in the
50
community.
subscribers. Yeah. Sava needs another 50 subscribers to reach 17K or something like that. Please go over and give him that 17K, right? All right, guys.
Pick up,
I got to
man.
make a move too, right? So all I can say is, right, there's no fake fan. There's no whatever fan. Everyone is fan. If we go up, we go up. We go down, we go down. We're all in this together. The only thing is that we have to wake up and unite, right? To get out of this stupid cycle that we are in, right? We're always in this rinse, repeat. Nothing has changed shit, right? So I don't want this fucking Tottenham back. And when he said that we've got our Tottenham back, I know we've been conned. That's all, right? Guys, take care. Big up, Lubo. I'll see you next time, bro. It's too early in the morning in Malaysia here for me, right? I'll be listening in the stream. All right, guys, take care. Bye-bye.
Eugene, take care. Look after yourself as always. I'm going to come to Alex and Ian in a minute. We haven't even discussed the game. We are going to discuss the game at some point.
Just to answer a quick question, a couple of people have asked me on the others. 100% I will be at that protest. It's going to cost me nearly 140 quid to do it, but 100% I will be there.
Listen, there's a lot of people coming to this one, guys. There's a lot of YouTubers that weren't the last one that come this time, and a lot of fans that are coming to this one that didn't make the last one. So this one, I think, is going to be bigger. George, thank you for being a channel member for 3 months. Chris, with the super chat, big up Chris, who says it hurt because he was a breath of fresh air in everything, attacking football and loved his wit. How the hell did he pull that? Talk about making a good impression. Clueless now, stack everyone, leave you out. Well, I think fans were just desperate, Chris, and they just jumped on any old bullshit. I think that's pretty much what happened. A user says, honestly, was there any player today that wowed us? Well, other than Vicario with that couple of really good saves, not really.
Yeah.
And he nearly cost us about 3 times as well.
Yeah, but he also saved our ass like 3 times. So.
We're going to get onto it because there's a lot of the actual match I want to talk about once we get over the Levy ranting. Igor says he had 3 weeks to figure it out yet. I had no idea what the fuck I was watching. Igor, literally, it's what we said. What was the start today? Alex, let me come to you, then we'll come to Lubo because Lubo needs to be arrested for his crimes against football because he tried to get me to go to Chelsea with him today. Twice he tried to get me to go, and that is criminal behaviour. Lubo, poor Lubo went to Stamford Bridge. We'll get his take on it in a minute. Alex, listen, my man, you watched the game.
Alex?
Yeah, 1 second. I just got 1 second. Just give me 30 seconds.
Let me go back to Lubo. Lubo, listen, you take over. Lubo, listen, I feel sorry for you, man. I try and talk you out of going to all these away games. I do my best to talk you out of it, but you're a diehard fan. You want to support the team. I get it. I try and get you to not go because I want to relieve some of the pain you go through. But mate, that must have been painful at Stamford Bridge again. Outplayed, lost. We didn't even put in a good performance. And with the cupping of the year, you can tell us what actually happened because we're just getting rumours and stories. And then there was some kind of altercation at the front of the away end. The camera zoomed in. There was angry fans. Lubo, explain to us what happened. You were there.
Well, I didn't see Ange give the shushing. Put his hands through his ear. I didn't see Sonny shush the fans that I was reading about. And I was out on 90 minutes. It was enough. Forget another 12. I'd stood through.
Good choice, Lubo. Nothing happened. Good choice. You didn't miss a thing.
I've got to tell you something. It's, you watch a team with no heart, no tactics, no system. There's only one man I blame. There's only one who is to blame. And it's not Mum and it's not Ange. It's our chairman who knows sweet FA about football, brings in Mum. Another one. What does Mum do? Does anybody know what he does? Does anybody know what he does?
Ian.
And Mum has responsibility of the biggest decision to make for a football. That is the appointment of a manager, and he brings in Postecoglou, who is so out of his depth. So out of his depth. It is embarrassing. But it all comes down to Levy because Levy made that decision to bring in Mum.
Right. But I disagree with you on that one.
No, he is to blame because if he knew anything about football, Dan wouldn't be bringing in these amateurs.
One second, Dan, 1 minute, guys. Ian, let Lubo finish, and then once he's finished, Dan, you can come in. All right, finish what you wanted to say, and then I'll bring in Dan.
No, fair enough.
I said it. Levy doesn't know what he's doing. Mum's an amateur at this level. Postecoglou's an amateur at this level. They shouldn't be anywhere near their jobs. If Levy trusts Mum to pick a manager, look what we've got. This is horrendous, absolutely horrendous. And I've been through many years where I've watched absolute rubbish. The year we went down, I went to Derby when they smashed 5 past the second half. I was stuck at Man City when they smacked 5 past us. We were dreadful that season. We lost 21 out of 42 that year. This guy's even beating that on the percentages. He's over 50% now. This is awful, just awful. And this chairman sits there watching it in his ivory tower and lets his club carry on going into free fall week after week after week. And he's doing nothing. That is negligence of the highest order. I hope we get 10,000 on Sunday to get this guy out. He is useless.
Ian, calm down, man. You give yourself piles. Right. The thing is with it, yes, Levy is the cancer of the club. We know that, yeah? We know what Levy is. But Levy does not pick the team. Levy does not pick the tactics. Levy does not make the subs. You can blame him for a majority of it, but what happens on that pitch, that ain't down to Levy. That's down to the manager not doing his job properly. Yes, it was employed through the top, this. We all know where it works back to. So we don't need even to go into a Levy debate with it. But you can't go blaming him on what happens on the pitch. Now, let's twist this around for you. If we go and win that Europa Cup, which obviously we're not going to, but no one can tell me for a fact we won't, then we've also got to give Levy significant amount of credit as well, yeah?
No.
Yeah, but hold on, we're doing hypotheticals now. We're talking about tonight. Hold on, that's hypothetical, Dan. Dan, these are hypotheticals, though. We haven't won anything.
No, but the fact I'm giving is he does not pick the players on that pitch who are playing, and he don't pick the tactics. Blame him for everything.
But he chose the manager that picks the players and the tactics. But he chose the manager that picks the players and the tactics.
Choose what happened on that pitch. That's down to the manager's job then.
No, yeah, but he's picked the wrong manager, Dan. He's picked the wrong manager.
Yeah. But he still doesn't pick what happens on the pitch.
Yeah, but see what you're doing now, right? What you're doing now, okay. I get what you're saying. I agree. I agree. I agree with saying Ange is to blame for what goes on the pitch. But
Yes.
after 17 managers, when do you say it's the chairman's fault?
I've said the whole system at this club is his fault for a long time. But the way I look at things a bit different is how can you actually blame him for what subs were made at half time or what subs weren't made? Be realistic out of it.
I'll tell you why he's
Yes,
to blame, Dan. I'll tell you why he's to blame. Because he's been seeing it fall apart for some time now. This isn't 5 or 6 games. This isn't a blip. This isn't a blip that Man City had over 12 games. This has been a year and a half now, and he is sat there and he has done nothing. And for that reason, Ange should be nowhere near that first team making these decisions. Nowhere near it.
But Ange is now in that position, Ian, because he put himself in that position. No one else put him in that position. Ange done this to himself. Ange started playing Ange ball. Ange decided not until make subs until we're 3-0 down. Ange decided to take off Maddison when nearly every game or not bloody play him at the start. Ange made these decisions. He gets just as much shit as far as I'm concerned. We all know what the problem is, where it is at the top. But then everyone else has to take accountants for their job as well, even if they weren't the right person to be employed. Yes. So what happens on the pitch, that one ain't down to Levy. That one's down to Ange. But if you're going to sit here and slate Ange and everything and that, and slate players and everything, which I totally agree, because they only like sunshine being blown up their ass when they need to be know when it's done wrong as well, then you also have to give someone credit when they do it right as well, or if they ever do it right.
But nothing's right, Dan. But we never get it right. That's the whole point, isn't it? We never get it right, ever. It's always wrong. 25 years, it's wrong.
Yeah,
we are getting worse. These performances are getting worse.
Without a doubt.
Not getting better, getting worse. We will struggle. If we carry on playing like we did today, we will struggle to win a single match between now and the end of the season.
I just disagree with the point when you say that it is all down to one thing. What happens on that pitch is down to the manager and the players. No one else can change that.
Guys, let me bring on Alex. Because he's been sitting there quietly listening. Alex, go on. Have your say, man. Have your say. You're listening to Ian and Dan. Where are you at with it?
I could just start off by responding.
Oh, by the way, Michael, let Mike have his. I was going to say, let Mike have a final say. Right, he's gone. Don't worry. He's got a new job, Michael, now, so he can't do late nights. He's got to be up early. He's a working man again. So big up, Michael, for getting a new job. Yeah, Alex, go for it, bro.
Yeah, I can just start off by responding. With everything that's been, like, Levy was the one who put Ange in charge of wanting to play this football. He wanted to see a different philosophy. He wanted to see a change in football. And Ange is such an incompetent manager that he feels, I was put in this place to play my football, to play this different style, blah, blah, blah. Then if I now if he starts to be pragmatic, and if he tries to go down that different route, he knows he's not good enough to go down that route and start getting results. Because even if he changed his style and went more defensive, went more compact, he knows that he's overall so incompetent that it wouldn't make a difference. So he thinks, whatever, I'm just going to play my football because this is what I've been put in charge of this football club for. And if it works out, then I'm doing my job. I think that's how he resonates. And there's nothing right now that honestly gives me hope, because I'm so detached. I'm so numb. And I know what the reason is for it. We have the most clueless manager in history. It's all a culmination. We have our most clueless manager in history. We have the most clueless chairman in history. And we have the most embarrassing and clueless sporting director in history that went all the way to Germany and could get a 19-year-old to sign for us for game time. That he had to call the manager and ask him to convince us. That's the culmination of 3, as you said, Stel, earlier, con men that are in place of this football crowd now. They're in charge of everything. The football, all the on-field tactics we see is a result of these 3 people working together. And I'm just, I don't know what more to say. That was my rant. And we threw Conte out for not wanting to be at this football club. That was the reason. He doesn't want to be here. Oh, he talks down on us. Look at what Ange did today. Look at how we acted out towards the fans.
Mm.
Those very fans,
Preach.
Conte defended in that press conference. He came out and said, these fans they travel all these months, they pay all this money to watch us, and this is how we perform. That's what he came out and he put Levy on the spot. Ange has not anything to deserve credit for. He can't even get close to Conte in that manner, both football-wise and respectfully. His professionalism was on levels higher than Ange. Ange, what he did today in that Sky Sports interview, all of it, it's just a big, I don't know, it's a shit show that anyone who does any psychiatric therapy won't look at what happened today and go, that is my manager. That is the guy I want to take this football club forward. That's my rant, honestly. I'm done.
Can I get the baton and run with it? It's good to be back. Some of you know, I spent 2 weeks in Argentina and in Chile. And in another show, I will talk about my experience. Even got to see Boca Juniors. Also saw the last Spurs game, the Fulham game, from there. I'm going to start off with this. And I'm glad you brought up Conte. And I'll even bring up Jose. The fact that we're not seeing blurbs that Ange is going to be sacked tonight is telling. What he did tonight is a sackable offense. You are a professional. You cannot react to the fans. Don't be into that bullshit about I was trying to cite the fans. These same fans criticized when he took out Bergwijn for Sarr. He did this because he wanted payback and say, see, Sarr just scored. This is kindergarten stuff. This is what little kids do. No. You are a fucking professional. You are a professional. To be able to do that, that's absolutely disgusting. Yet the fans got mad when Conte called out the club, when Jose called the club. That pales in comparison to what Ange did tonight. And to go back to the debate that Dan and Lubo had, this club is a cesspool. Even in my old channel, I mentioned the culture, the mentality of this club. Going back to Conte, right? Called out the club, right? They fired him. We go through Stellini and of course Ryan Mason. This guy gets to fix that situation. These guys, as Stell will say, hires a yes man, hires a con board with Lange and Scott Munn. These guys' CVs are it's a joke. He brings them all in to be able to hide this guy Ange, who supposedly plays advancing football with Celtic to appease the fans, to all fit Daniel Levy's philosophy of how a club should be run. 25 years, going on to 25 years of failure. This club makes me sick of how it's run. I agree with Dan. Ange is the worst manager that we've had in my lifetime.
Ever.
Ian's lifetime ever. From the beginning of the show, the stat, this is the worst. There's absolutely no excuse. But also, how did he get into our club? Daniel Levy.
I agree.
Because here's the thing. Levy will not hire a football person to challenge him. To challenge how much the wages that we pay our players. To challenge the football philosophy of our team. Levy is a narcissist. We've been saying that for years. He's a narcissist. I always use this example. Look at Napoli. De Laurentiis is a narcissist. But the difference is, De Laurentiis said, you know what? The fans in Napoli are really getting on me. Kind of like what AC Milan, their fan base, what they did to the manager and to that team. right? De Laurentiis relinquished the power to a football person, and then you saw what happened with Napoli. They won the league. De Laurentiis then comes back because of his ego. Napoli struggles. Once again, he concedes power. He concedes to Conte. Right now, they're fighting to win Serie A. The differences with Daniel Levy is he is a narcissist. He wants things to be done his way. This guy's never kicked a football. He's never studied football. He knows nothing about football. But yet I have to hear some clown on another channel says, we should be thanking him. We're the best run football club. We're not the best run football club. I don't give a damn about stats, financial sheets and shit like that. I'm a football fan. I want to see winning football. I want to see football people in the. We are the ninth biggest club in the world. You tell me we can't get competent football people in our club?
Maury, thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that, by the way. Thank you for saying that, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that, by the way, because I was actually going to say that. I was literally going to say that because I literally because someone was celebrating on Wednesday that Ian was on that disrespected Ian because I had a phone call with Ian. Sorry to just interrupt you, but thank you said that because I was just about to say it because on the back of someone saying that, yeah, why should we sack Ange? Why should we sack Ange then? Because it's all okay. It's all okay. I was looked as an idiot in the WhatsApp group because I was saying, what am I talking about? No, I'm sitting there saying, why should we sack Ange when the finances are absolutely fine? Why should we sack Ange? Because he's entertained the fans. Those fans, away fans, they're raw. But most of them are on board with Ange. So why should we sack Ange? Why should we sack Ange?
I've got to tell you something. The away fans aren't on board with him.
But Ian, you know there's a lot more. You know there's a lot more, right? You know there's a lot more. Trust me, it's so great that I don't care anymore. I'm benching it and I'm just doing suit dancing because now my eyes are opening. My eyes are opening, bruv. My eyes are open. Yeah,
mine's been open for 17 years.
Yeah, just to say that, yeah, Murray, my boy, you carry on, bruv. I don't want to interrupt you even more. I've got a lot to say. Don't worry about that. So you carry on, bruv. Sorry about that.
The worst thing here, Murray, from Levy's point of view, if it's all about money, what the hell is he doing? You've got an opportunity with a proper coach to come in and knock this team into shape. And if you win the Europa, he's on for 40 million. Which is probably 3 times plus more than what you'd have to pay Postecoglou in a compensation payout.
The possibility, Ian, is that back then, before we became an event center, right? We had to get the Champions League money. We had to get that in. Now that we have all these other events coming on, Coldplay, Young Buck, or whoever is coming in, now is not as much as an urgency. Yes, it's nice to get that Champions League money because you got to think Spurs is just an entity. We're one of many entities in that stadium. That stadium is not our home. It is an event center. We're one entity with Beyonce, with the wrestling, with the race car driving, the other events. We're just another entity.
Murray.
At White Hart Lane, he didn't have those other entities. It was just the football club. Now he has these other events. He's preparing to get in.
But Murray, that the revenue from the football side still dwarfs the non-footballing activities.
I get it, but he can still. It's still not a dire situation where we were the only entity at White Hart Lane. Like I said, he still has these other events to come in. Yes, it's not going to give you the 40 million up front like the Champions League.
They still didn't make up the loss in revenue. They made up most of it, but they didn't make up all of it.
Well,
Ian,
my final thing I want to say is
Spurs goes down. If the football side goes down, Spurs get relegated next season, right? Big chunks of money suddenly start to disappear. The club are 872 million in debt. Lewis and Levy won't put their own money into the club. The hotel in White Webbs Park cannot be developed because they cannot get investment into the club. They can't get outside investment in. They've been trying for a year.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this again, and I don't disagree with you, Ian. It's the man on top. His ego will not. His ego hurts the club. When it comes down to it, his ego hurts the club in the sense that he doesn't have football people at this club. It is an absolute joke for us to be considered a top 6 club. Brighton is run better than us. They may not make as much money than us, but Brighton is run better than us. They have football people where they're at.
Yep.
Gatman, Lang, and it's a clown show. It's an absolute clown show. And tonight, what Ange did, don't believe his excuse. There is a reason why he did that, right? It's a fireable offense. Should be fired tonight. Absolutely tonight. And if he's not fired tonight or tomorrow, it's like
we say this every week, Murray. Every week we say he should be fired. Every week he's going to go, and every week he's still here.
He's not getting fired. He's not getting fired.
But this was towards the fans.
No, yeah,
This
but
is
yeah, but
Not the first time either.
but Mari,
and you get rid of Conte?
Mari,
Conte? Like,
can I ask a question? Why would he sack Ange right now? Why would he sack Ange? I put a question out right now. I put a position right now.
Because the protests are going to grow. Because the protests against Levy are going to keep growing.
But the point I'm making is though, right? With that donut that was on Savage show, right? Tenors celebrating bloody spreadsheets, and you know who I'm talking about. Who don't invite Mr. Box Office, right? Because he knows they're going to rinse it to pieces. The point is though, yeah, right, is that he's celebrating saying that we are sustainable, right? And if you listen to Simon Jordan, right? Okay, he says it sums it up perfectly. We don't want to go for we don't go for the juggler. We don't take risks. We do not take risks. What is it? I forgot his name. Maz summed it up perfectly on your show. Yeah, on Monday. Summed it up perfectly. Right? So why would he sack Ange when there's a lot of fans that are still for him right now? Why would he sack him? The finances are absolutely fine. We don't need Europe. We don't need Europe.
We don't need it like we used to. You're right. We don't. It's a
So
bonus.
by that logic, why would he sack Ange?
The same reason he sacked previous managers. When the fans turn, Levy reacts, and the fans are going to...
But Stelios, they are not turning. They are not turning. Listen. Well, you know what
you say that, but after that protest that happened about 3-4 weeks ago, that's when all the noise started getting loud on the internet. We're looking at Iriola. We're looking at Frank. We're looking at
but that's not
now. If this protest if this protest gets bigger, it just pushes the lever even more towards Levy getting rid of him.
Did you see that statement from Levy on Wednesday? You see that statement on Wednesday?
I did.
That was a nail on the head. Boom. That was a nail on the head. Boom. Said to me straight away, saying, "Okay, what?
Why are you surprised, Alex? Nothing's changed for 24 years. No, Alex, nothing's changed.
I'm not surprised. But the point is, though,
policy. This is their business model, Alex. Nothing.
But the point I'm making is, though, Ian, I'm not surprised though because I'm zoned out, bro. I'm zoned out. But it's just rubber stamped it, and now I'm sitting there saying, why would they sack Ange when the worst one, right? And you know I can't stand him. Paratici said, "You know what? I don't fancy this anymore. I'll go AC Milan."
Yeah, he left. He said, "Deuces."
That's the worst one. That is the worst one because Levy wanted him.
He knows what the plan is going to be. He knows this route we're going on. He's already seen where it's going to take us.
He's already seen it. It's the worst one. That was like, come on now.
Harry was the worst. Harry Kane was the worst. Why do you think Kane left?
I mean, guys, do you know what? Guys, hold on. Let me bring it back. Let's get onto this game specifically because I do want to discuss this game because a lot of things happened in this game and we haven't even touched the game yet. We've been going for an hour and 5 minutes, right? I thought the starting lineup is as good as we can possibly get.
Agreed.
Other than Kulu maybe playing. Yeah. Other than Kulu maybe playing. And maybe Porro instead of Udogie. Other than that, this is the best we've got right now. This is the best we've got. Even if Danzo and Richarlison are fit, I think that's the best we've got. So in terms of injuries, not having all your players, that excuse went out of the window today. And if people say to me, oh, but Van de Ven and Romero have only just come back, Nicholas Jackson and Cole Palmer only just came back for Chelsea. Yeah. So it's even Stevens. Now, we didn't play well. Chelsea looked like the better team. And for me, I made some notes. Things that concerned me specifically was poor passing in general, poor play in the transitions, defending one ball over the top, still a problem. We still can't defend set pieces or crosses into the box. And that's where their goal came from. And on top of that, we still are obsessed with playing out from the back, even when there's too much pressure on us and it just needs a ball out. All of those things have not been rectified in 2 years. And it showed today.
Did you hear what the Chelsea manager said? Did you hear what the Chelsea manager said? At the interview, he said he knew how Tottenham were going to play, right? So all he needs to do, because he knew that they played the high line, all you need to do is put the ball over the top, and we could get in behind. That's how we can get over Tottenham.
How many managers have you heard after a game say we knew what to do? How many times are we hearing that now? So I look at that, right? I look at that, and this is where I do agree with Dan. That's all on Ange. That's all on Ange. All of that, right? My argument is who put him in place to be making these decisions. But I looked at that, guys, and then I said to myself, right, how long does this manager get before he shows us that we can actually play football, that we can defend and we can attack and we can do both in the game and look hard to beat? When is that going to happen? Because it wasn't until the 60th minute that we got a shot on target. Chelsea had all the big chances. At half-time, they showed the highlights of the first half. It was Chelsea chance number 1, Chelsea chance number 2. Mate, if it wasn't Vicario, there would have been easily a couple of goals up, right? Vicario made a wonder save in that first half. And then on top of that, I asked myself, right, there's players on the pitch. This guy was praised as a top player. Odegaard's arrived because he did well against a farmers team from Holland. He was crap against Fulham when he came on. He was shit tonight. Odegaard did nothing. I've been told Solanke, give it time. This guy spent most of the game playing as a number 6. And when he was up front, he did nothing. He offers us nothing as a striker. So I look at them and I think, and it's not just them. Listen, I could get into the defenders, but those two in particular, because we've only just signed them. Guys, the signings aren't good enough. They haven't been developed. We don't defend well. That hasn't improved. Our ball possession is poor. The amount of sloppy passes and balls that we kick off the pitch for throw-ins when it just needs a simple forward pass. Players that hold on the ball too much. The general coaching at this club is poor. The general coaching and development of players is dog shit. It really is. Even tonight, Bergvall did this brilliant bit of skill where he's nipped past 1 or 2 players, got to the byline, puts a brilliant cross in, and you're thinking, oh my God, hit it first time. Son tries to trap the ball and it goes underneath his foot and he goes to the pitch. I'm like, how? How does that happen? Guys, talk to me about the team, the way it's set up, the coaching, the players that we've got. None of it makes sense. None of it.
I'm going to say this. Today was a game on the road where, honestly, I'm saying to myself, let Chelsea have the ball and let's be a counter-attacking team tonight, especially to help Solanke's game. Apparently, Solanke scored a lot of these goals on the counter when he was at Bournemouth.
And crosses as well.
Yeah, I'm thinking tonight is a night where we should be this type of team. But no. And doesn't get it. You saw the comments that he said before the game. And I'm just like, okay, this is going to be a shit show. It's going to be a blowout. Thank goodness Chelsea can't finish their dinner as well. But I'm going to tell you this. We play this way against Frankfurt. They will finish. They will finish. And stuff. I told you on the chat, weeks ago, I'm not so confident against Frankfurt. I'm definitely not confident against Frankfurt. But going back to this,
I don't think anyone is.
Yeah, going back to tonight, I'm thinking, what? Tonight on the road at Stamford Bridge, let us be the counter-attacking team. But no. And then, once again, the structure. We have no structure defensively. That Enzo goal. What is BDV doing? Right? Yeah. I know everybody got the debate. Who is the number one defender? BDV, Romero. Is it Udogi? All of them are lost. All of them are lost. Udogi can't really do anything from behind, right? Enzo's in front of him. BDV is really supposed to be tracking that guy on the Peacock American broadcast. They're saying that,
Murray, we can call out VDV. We can also call out Romero tonight. But all the fullbacks tonight. All the fullbacks tonight. Just let me ask you all the question: how many times was there one or two players free at the back post for Chelsea? Every time a ball came in, there's no one at the back post marking out. We can't blame the centre backs for that as well. We blame them for everything else. What are the wing backs being coached to do? And if they're too high up, why is no one drilled to get back and cover? Mate, I'm telling you, the whole thing is rotten to the core.
Yes.
You don't have no like in the chat, big up to Ching. No positional sense, no discipline, no structure. We're just lucky we played Chelsea and they can't finish their dinner because I saw holes. We joke around. Ashley, Lily.
Well, they hit the post. Vicario made a wonder save. I mean, and they had a goal disallowed by a fractional, an inch offside.
Yeah, and no one really stood out. Vicario, he saved a couple of goals, and Bergvall was probably, and then they took him out, and we're going to talk about this later. They put Sarr in and whatsoever, the whole controversy, but most of the game I was bored. I didn't think we were going to score. I was bored. And
dude, we needed goals. We needed goals, and he brings on Tell and Porro.
Yeah, who are like
Matej Tell hasn't scored in one Premier League game this season. Porro isn't a goal scorer. I don't understand. I don't get what this manager does. He takes off Maddison, who listen. No one played great tonight, but at least Maddison was he was looking for those balls, and he played Son in once or twice, and Son fucked it. I think Son played one really good cross into the box all game, and the goalie for Chelsea came out and put a good save on it. But listen, man, I look at the way we're set up. I look at the way we defend. I look at the way we don't have players who have progressed. I look at players that are free on the back post for the opposition. I look at the tactics for Chelsea, how we failed to double up on the flanks to stop the crosses coming in. I looked at our inability to transition. The only one transition all game that worked was when Johnson got to the byline and crossed it, and Son slid in, and the goalie for Chelsea made a good save. That was the only transition in 112 minutes, right?
Or however many minutes it was. Chelsea, you see the amount of times that in the midfield that Chelsea are swapping the play with the ball and spreading the play out, and
that's what I was saying earlier, Alex.
We never do that. We never do that. We just play short passes wherever we're doing it. And
Casado bossed that midfield. Casado bossed that midfield today. Yeah, fantastic.
Maddison
he
was
bossed.
having to come back to his own bloody goal line basically to get the ball, to get any service of the ball. He literally had
Dan,
to go back into
Solanke
our
played as a
penalty
number
area.
6 tonight.
Yeah, I
Solanke
know.
played as a number 6.
No service up front, and nor was Maddison. They literally had to come back to our goalkeeper nearly to get the bloody ball. And then Vicario nearly screwed it up 3 times for us because of the way he gets told to play.
Yeah.
He also done brilliant saves as well. I'm not grilling him saying that because he's only doing what he's told to. But he's obviously not great at it, and it's something we've picked at for a while, and that nearly cost us, 3 times in the first half. How we did not go down 3-0 in that first half, I don't know.
Yeah.
Lucky was an understatement.
We caught live. Sava, thank you for the super chat. Very generous of you, bro. Toxic, negative, fake, pricks. See you next Tuesday's wankers. Just some of the things we've been called still whilst being 100% correct about this shambolic fraud of a manager. When do we get apologies? P.S. Lubo out, Alex in. I wonder which Alex he's talking about.
I still like Lubo. He's still my guilty pleasure. I still love Lubo. He might be deluded sometimes, but he's our deluded one.
Lubo.
Big up Saba though. Big up Saba.
Listen,
Football.
big up for the super chat. Lubo, listen, you were there, okay? After the game, you said you left before the last 10 minutes, whatever. The camera zoomed in on the away end, and at the front, the away fans, there was some kind of altercation. There was arguments kicking off again. Lubo, what is the general feeling amongst fans in the terraces regarding what is going on the pitch? What is because you go to a lot of away games, so you must see it building up. Like tonight, what was the vibe? What are people saying? Tell us what fans are saying.
Everyone's just sitting there. Everyone's just numb because it's garbage. The whole thing's garbage. Today is the norm. It's not worse. It's not any better or any worse than normal. This is what we are watching now. This is week after week after week. I'm absolutely right. 100% Levy Eni are to blame. If I'm running a sales team, and I have a salesman that comes in, and for the first 10 weeks he's flying, and then all of a sudden he gets worse and worse and worse and worse. At what point am I going to be neglectful when I don't stop it? And that's why, for me, Levy is 100% to blame, because he's watching this go on and on and on, and he's doing nothing. And it's going to cost him potentially, if he'd have brought in someone like a Terzic, who's out of work, and could have come in, organised this team, did a really good job with Borussia Dortmund. Even bring him in for a few months. Bring him in, we'd have had a decent chance. Wouldn't be favourites, but we'll be up with the rest of them in terms of having an opportunity with the Europa League. But he's sat there, and it's got worse and worse and worse. And the form guide is getting worse. As each block of the season goes on, we're getting worse, and we're dropping. We lose on Sunday, and Wolves win at Ipswich. We go to Molineux 2 points clear of Wolves, and if Everton and West Ham start picking up points, we will be 17th. And it's only because the bottom 3 are so poor that we're not dragged in to a relegation fight. And this chairman is sitting watching it. Now it's his business. Joe Lewis has given him carte blanche to run the club. And he's sitting there doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. Watching the form plummet. Watching the whole thing fall apart. But because his figures are great, considering there was no Europe last year, and they only, mind you, the operating profit went up 6 million. So he's obviously very, very happy. What's he doing wrong?
The other thing is, Ian, is again, you can spin that around, but you can also say that Levy is actually doing what a lot of Spurs supporters do say they want, and that is give the manager a chance to actually make a project work over 3 or 4 years. Actually stick by a manager, even if it goes wrong.
But the guy's got to be improving each year, surely.
Dan,
Yeah,
Dan's just exactly said what I've just said there. Thank you, Dan, for clarifying what I just said. By the way, thank you very much, mate.
It's not that that's the way I look on it.
No. I know.
A lot of Spurs fans have been screaming for so long, stick by this manager over a matter of 3 or 4 years to get a so-called project process running properly. So he's doing what a majority of the fans are.
Can I just say this quickly? Can I just say this? If Ange, during his entire career, everything, in my opinion, he hasn't faced challenges. He's never been in a relegation battle. If he was one of those managers that had that experience, and he came into this job thinking, okay, you know what? I'm going to play my kind of football every third game, let's say. That's not going to burn my players out, and I'm going to be more pragmatic. I'm going to adapt. I'm going to look at my opposition, and I'm going to set out my team by the opposition, like Slot does a lot. If it was like that, I think this football could work if he played it every third game-ish, so against lower opposition, etc. I'm not a fan of his football because it clearly drains our players. It clearly isn't sustainable. You have to have a style of play that can win you titles for years on. So that's how elite managers have had. They've perfected their own style of football that wins their club trophies, that wins the club they're at trophies, that wins titles. And he's always been at clubs where he hasn't had to adapt to the point where if I don't adapt, I won't win this league. He could play his football at Scotland, in Japan. He didn't have to adapt a single time because he was so superior in terms of squad, etc. that he didn't. But if he played his football every third, fourth game, then he could work. But he doesn't do that because he doesn't have the experience. He's too stubborn. He's too old. He's beyond it. It's that simple, honestly.
Quick super chat from Sava. PS, just wait until our players are fit. Ha 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 ha. It was just the injuries. Apparently, Sava, at the start of this stream, I said that fans told me, wait till the defenders are back and you'll see a change. And both of our defenders started, and Spence and Udogie. And in 54 seconds, one ball over the top caused utter chaos. 54 seconds it took. Right?
Yep.
So, listen, this whole thing, wait till our players are back. It's madness, man. It's madness. But
what's
Alex, I know you wanted to say something. Huh?
Yeah, I can just say that one of the biggest disgraces that has occurred under Levy is the fact that our most prolific striker in history, say our record-breaking Premier League striker, that Kane left us without having won a single trophy, that happened under Levy, and that fans still go on that, he didn't turn up in the big games, blah, blah, blah. That happened is for me, like the ultimate. You can't steep much lower than that. Our best striker ever left us without having won a trophy under this ownership because they never wanted to win. They never had the ambition to build a team around this legend and go on to win things. And they're never going to change. They're never going to change because if they didn't change when we had the best striker during our Prem era, then they're never going to change. And that fans still defend it. I don't know what to say. It's the disgraces are just going to keep on going. The records that are broken now by Ange, that he just keeps breaking, all these records are just going to keep getting broken. And I don't know how
you're right, mate.
The lowest we can fall is relegation. And even if we get relegated, I don't want to think about it, but if that happened, there will still be people that come up with.
It's part of the process.
Excuse me, it's a disease. I don't know what I can say.
Alex,
I live and breathe football. I live and breathe football. That's my passion. I'll never be able to stand by something that I know isn't out to win things. I will never be able to stand by that. That this is happening at the club. It just proves that people don't watch football to want to see their club win things. They watch football. Most of them watch football because they want to have a good time. They want to blah, blah, blah. I watch football
That's-
because I want to see my team. I want to see my
The,
team.
the issue is,
That's the
Alex,
end of
the
it.
issue is Spurs is a different conundrum because of a number
Of
of
course it is.
reasons.
I
Number
know it
one,
is.
well, number one, we are a so-called big club, so-called Big Six, and we're the only Big Six club that wins nothing. And not only are we the only Big Six club that wins nothing, we've seen Newcastle win, we've seen Leicester City win, we've seen Portsmouth win, and this season there's a chance that either Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest,
or Villa.
or Villa
Yeah.
could win.
Yeah,
We are falling down the pecking order, all while at the same time. Look at the nice new stadium. It's the best. Look at the nice new training facilities. It's the best. Look at how sustainable we are. And what's happened is we've been lied to. We were told we're going to go for a difficult period because once we build the stadium, then you'll see what it's all about. We built the stadium and then we're told just wait a bit longer because when FFP and PSR come in, then you'll see how really powerful we are because we're in the best position. We've waited for that. Everyone's going past us. And now we're being told project, process. They keep kicking the can down the road with a new pack of lies. And I now think, and I mean this, I think the game is up. I think too many fans have woken up and said, enough is enough. And look, this protest, I'm telling you, it's going to be bigger than the last one. It is. Will it change anything? I don't know. I don't know. I don't.
But Everton are doing their big stadium. Everton are doing their big stadium at the moment.
Hold on, Alex. There's a good old proverb, and there's even a
Maury, we haven't seen this in 25 years, what we're seeing right now. The fans like this.
Good old proverb is also I think it's an Aesop fable, right? Where it talks about building a strong foundation. These lesser clubs, they have a philosophy. They have a foundation. Their house may look shitty on the outside, right? But when you go
They've got proper managers. They've got proper managers.
Yeah, and proper managers, scouting for their level, they have a foundation. Whereas we have a nice shiny house, but once you come in, there's no foundation. It looks shiny, looks good. And some of our families, we like that. Oh, it's so nice. Wow, we have arrived. But the foundation is terrible. From Scott Mung, Land, and the board, we don't have a philosophy. We don't have a foundation. It's terrible. That's why the Villas, the Brightons, right? Even when they're losing players, they have a foundation. They have a philosophy. They work with what they have. Even if it's little, they know who they are and they make it successful. Whereas we're confused. We're changing it up. We don't have a philosophy. I laugh every time people say the Tottenham way. What the hell is the Tottenham way?
So many fans praise this new project, Lange, Munn, and all the signings. So many praised it and said how great it's going to be, man. So many. Now,
but my issue is,
this man is the worst. Absolutely. He has to be nominated, like honestly, in the Premier League era as the worst manager, especially for a Big Six club, because other Big Six clubs fired their coach by then. They're already fired. So
Maury, have you seen this? Maury, have you seen this?
Big Six club.
Maury, have you seen this? Right, Sava sent it to me earlier, right? Right, look at this. This is the percentage losses. Okay. The worst percentage loss was 1913, and the sixth worst was 1911. Spurs right now are on 53.3. This is the all-time worst in the history of the club right now.
Yeah,
right now, in 143 years, we are now delivering the worst percentage rate loss.
So why is it they haven't sacked him by now? Because they've got the money to do it then. This is the thing. There's two arguments here with that statement on Wednesday. Why have they not sacked him now? Why you can see why they've not sacked him.
Because when does ever Levy make the right decision? When does Levy ever make the right decision? When does he ever get it right?
That's the point I'm making. He's risk averse. I think everyone's made this conclusion already. You know what I mean? And this is why I've zoned out. This is why everyone's zoned out. The fact is, right now, right, and I'm not angry about us winning now. We don't win. We're not a top 6 club. I've got to that point now. I don't care anymore, right? The thing that annoys me, with all that money we've got, why have we not got the resources to find the Areola, bruv? Why have we not got the resources to get a Pochettino before he goes to Southampton, bro? Why is it Brighton are getting managers left, right, and centre?
Alex, because they've got football people in the club.
But this is the point. This is the point, though, Ian. This is the point.
We don't have anyone in the club who knows about these people.
This is my issue. This is my issue, Ian. You know what I mean? What you're hearing from me, this is my issue. It's not even about the winning anymore for me now, right? Because we're not that club anymore. Right, we could just move on a coach and then get another coach in. We're not a sustainable club that sticks for a manager for how many years? We've never been that club. We've never been that club. But my point I'm making is, right, why is it that these clubs who are small, have got small resources, are finding these chairmen are finding these managers, right? They're finding these managers easily, doing research on these managers, and we can't do it.
The other
It's
thing
embarrassing.
Alex, hang on. Sorry, Alex. Why do you think we can't do it? You know the answer.
You know the answer. But Ian, I'm not trying.
He doesn't know anything about football.
But Ian, I'm not trying to incite you to say the same thing that we've been saying for how long. But I'm just making the point. I'm not trying to say whatever about the ownership again. You know what I mean? So, Alex, you want to make your point, bruv? Make yourself known, bruv.
Yeah, I can just. I think we all can agree on that. The most important signing this summer won't be a player; it'll be a manager. Because if we get it wrong this time, if we get a manager in that will make it clear from the get-go that this group of players isn't for me, then that sets us back 2 years. It sets us back significantly. The reason for why Brighton never had to go through a squad rebuild, etc., why they've only had to replace players and replace managers, is because their club goes in one strict way of philosophy. That everything goes in the same direction. There's no change in style of play or everything just fits. But with us, if we get a manager in right now that will need a totally different group of and style of players, then so this summer, if we don't get a manager that elevates us and fits this squad, fits with this squad more than Ange fits it, then yeah.
But half these players aren't good enough, man. I'm telling you, Odebert shouldn't be here, Matej Tel shouldn't be here, Werner shouldn't be here, Solanke's not at the levels required, Richarlison's not at the levels required. We've got midfielders that have been overhyped. Basuma's basically an outcast now. Bentancur.
I get that.
But
listen, another manager makes us better and develops the players. I agree, but I think the crop of players we've got right now, this is one of the worst squads we've had in quite a while. But I think the manager gets a better tune out of them. I do agree with that. I think the manager gets a better tune. I do agree.
This team that you see is probably going to be the same team you see next season. And I agree with Alexander that we're going to need a manager who has the ability to coach these players, to get something out of these players, because
to play with the cards he's got.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, because you heard Levy the other day. We ain't getting no new players. This team that you see here, it's going to be the team next year. So we're gonna need to find anybody, any bloke who can get a tune out of these players. And if that manager,
we went from this. To this.
We tried everything.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable, man.
And this
Who are we kidding? Who are we kidding?
And this is where this will make Lubo, actually everybody, excited. If that manager who can get a fine tune of these dross players can work with the youth, the Moors,
you're talking about players who.
Wait, let me finish. Maybe we could see some improvement in next season, 7th or 8th.
Yeah.
Ange, let me just say this. Ange, in my opinion, has been the one that's he's gotten the worst out of these players. I don't think any player can improve in this system. They can reach their peak in the system. I don't think it's too unsustainable in every single factor you want to mention. Like we talk about Bentancur, who I'm not going to make. For Uruguay, he usually outshines Valverde when he plays in that midfield under Bielsa for Uruguay. He's not a player you can call. He's being misused. He's being overplayed. You can argue he's being all of this, and he's been unlucky with injuries, of course. I'm not defending these players to be top, but they're good enough to have us in a place where we can be respectable as a football club, where we can where other teams can go in against us and say, shit, we're facing Spurs. This is a good team. That's, I believe, and that's the level of where these players can take us. Not all of them. Richie, who do we have more? Johnson. All of these anti-footballers. They're dross. They're never going to become anything new under a different manager, under a different system. They're just shit at the end of it. But a manager, I don't know who that manager is. I can't pretend that I know, but someone who's right for us with these group of players will have us much higher, and he'll play a style of football that is sustainable, that doesn't kill our players, and that they gets us back into at least Europe.
Just look at Eddie
The
Howe.
other thing is, hang on a second, I've got to go in 2 minutes. The other thing is, it's the whole system, and you can tell he's doing everything he can to save the money and everything else.
The
But
players
that
don't
team
believe in
should
him
not-
anymore. They don't.
That team should not be fighting a 17th place. What are we now? 15th or joint 17th or whatever it is? I've even lost track of it myself.
Well, 14, 16.
Well, until we get a manager that can play with the cards that he's got and use them to the best of their abilities, you're not going to see much of an improvement now.
No.
It's not going to happen. And all the time, we keep buying kids. You ain't going to see an improvement.
No, we're not.
We need people who can go on there and do the bloody job and improve that team.
And they get their coaching staff as well, Dan. They get their coaching staff as
That
well.
was the next bit I was going to go to. We need a coaching staff in there with a coach or a manager that can then get the players to adapt and evolve. But on top of that, we also need players there for the young players to learn off, not just the coaches. But we don't. These days, bar maybe a signing, we just go and sign kids. And look where it's got us. The minute everyone was fit, they were all out again. We need to start building this team. We need a manager that will play with the cards he's got. We need a manager that can adapt, that can handle the Premier League. Not just that the biggest league he's ever been in is the bloody Scottish Premier League, rated lower than the American League, and be the team there that is light years ahead of everyone, which any one of us could go there and win that bloody league. It's that simple with Celtic.
He called the Prem overrated, though. He said that people see it as something bigger than it is. That's what he said.
Yeah.
He's the biggest hypocrite and most unprofessional manager I've ever witnessed in my mind.
I felt sorry for that Sky Sports reporter.
Yeah, I mean he's one of the nice journalists that never like the way
he was proper rude, wasn't he? I watched
Yeah,
that thing. I was on the show with Sava and that.
I was embarrassed.
If I'm going to be totally honest, last thing I say to that, if someone turns around and starts talking like that to your face, you get a slap round the face for that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even punch him, you slap him straight across the face. Anyway,
Ange doesn't like it when Ange doesn't like it when his tactics, his strategy, and his poor coaching is exposed. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like being challenged on it. And the only way you shut people up, is by winning games. Unfortunately, all he does is lose. All he does is lose. You've got no legs to stand on, man. It's a results business.
I'm going to shoot. I've got to go, and I will see a majority of you on Sunday up at the protest. Take care of yourself.
See you Sunday, Dan, mate.
Bye.
Still, can I just run through a few points I've been writing down? Just general points. Firstly, through the years, he's had David Pleat there, who he's got rid of now, who had a wealth of football knowledge. He had Paritici, who came in and walked into an absolute shambles of a mess that Levy and Hitchens had put together after Paul Mitchell left. Pleat and Paratici have gone. If you look at the way the team are regressing, depends which way you want to look at it. Last season, we finished 25 points off the top. This year, at the moment, with 8 games left, is it? We are 39 points off the top. If this carries on, we will end up 48, 49 points off the top. So we would have gone from 25 off the champions to 49 off the champions. So if anyone can tell me that's not a trend towards relegation, then I don't know what is. So the fans who think it's fantastic that Levy's made this money, and look at those figures that came out. How does that help you as a fan when you go and watch this shit?
Absolutely agree. But he made that point.
Like
He made that point. He made that point and celebrated it. The person that we were Ian.
And
bragged about it and said that we're echo chamber on this channel.
Yeah.
He said, Stelios.
And Ian, and if I ever have the chance to debate that person, because they mentioned a while back, it's so hard to win trophies. It's all about mere chance. And Stel knows I did a study a couple of years ago. Stel, remember that study I did? From the last time we won the trophy, right?
I remember.
Out of the top 6, right? The top 6 clubs. And I did a research study. Who has had the most turnover? Managers, scouting department, directors. Who have had the most turnovers? Spurs.
Right, Mari, let me finish.
Let me land my point. The reason why I put an emphasis on this, in any business or any entity, you need continuity. You need continuity to be successful. It helps you to be successful. When you have too much changes, it's very, very, very hard. You have to be lucky to be able to.
Ari, that all comes down. That all comes down to a chairman who doesn't know what he's doing. Right.
Fish. When I did that study,
we're sidetracking here. Let me finish, please.
No,
Let me finish because this is not what I just said. Is not aimed at one person. There are many fans out there, many fans who think Levy's doing a fantastic job. Such a great job. Such a great job.
I'm hinting. He's done a terrible job.
Anybody who knows, any fan who knows about the history and tradition of this club knows exactly what a shit job this chairman has done pretty much for the majority of the 24, 25 years that he's been there. Just sort of finishing off, guys, just a couple of things. I've said, obviously, let me just make a couple of things against comments that are coming in. Archie Gray and Mikey Moore could not have done any worse if they'd have been out on that pitch today. And my God, they should both start on Sunday because these players aren't worth a place. And yeah, Sava, you want to go to Orient next season? With pleasure, mate. With pleasure. Hopefully, we'll be watching a promotion push while Spurs are in relegation trouble. Just got to try and marry the two because they'll both be on Saturdays.
Maury can just add something.
Back to that point, continuity is very important in regards of being successful. And so I say this because even the lesser teams who are being successful will win the trophies. Brighton, right? Few changes, but they have continuity. You have Bournemouth. All the clubs who are doing better than us, they have that continuity. And for us, we have never, in regards of recruitment, in regards to our hires, the people who are in charge, that's why we don't have a philosophy, because there's never been continuity, right? And so it's one of the big major reasons why we don't have a sound foundation, we don't have a philosophy, because Levy's ego is so big, right? When you have continuity, you have people who will have more of a voice, speak up. But Daniel Levy, right? You see all the interviews, Talk Sports former employees. What do they say about Daniel Levy? He has to have control. He has to have his hand.
Murray, if he knew about football, if he understood football and could put a strategy in, a long-term strategy, he's been there 25 years nearly.
I agree.
How many CEOs, seriously, have fucked up, excuse my French, the strategy for so many years, and they're still there? It's absolutely staggering. He doesn't know what to do. That's why he makes so many mistakes. And he doesn't surround himself with people that will help him because he won't listen to them.
Yeah, Ian, I just want to jump in with this. When you talked about that type of fan that you talked about earlier, I feel like Levy has had the perfect from our last trophy, 2008-09, that season when we won it. I think that the supporter base of our club has changed massively. I think a lot of people that went to the lane and were hardcores there aren't around in the same extent today. And a lot of fans today obviously don't know, especially the younger ones. They don't know what it feels to be winning. They don't know that feeling, what it feels and what it means to a club when it happens. If they knew,
where's their ambition, Alex? Where's their desire to be winning?
Exactly, I'm totally with you. If they knew what it meant, and if they had that experience, if they ever would have had that experience, then there's nothing that tells me that they would have preferred to see their club being sustainable, blah blah blah, PSR king. There's nothing in my mind. That euphoria that occurs when you win a trophy and when you get to be united as a whole, with your club, there's nothing better than that. And just because they haven't experienced it, then they don't have a reference point to go on. So what becomes important for them is things that are supposed to take us to trophies. That being sustainable, being all of that will take us to this place. But if they've never experienced it, I've experienced it with my local clubs. I've never been fortunate enough to win as a trophy with Spurs, but with my local clubs, I've witnessed us winning things, and there's no better feeling. That's where my experience comes from. That's why I'll never from I think it was from the first 9 months to where I started supporting Spurs, I was already Levy out, and it came from me knowing what it means to win, what it means and what it feels like. It's apparent that most of our fans, especially the younger ones, they just don't have that experience, and they defend this.
Alex, they have seen Chelsea, City, United, Liverpool,
Exactly.
Arsenal.
They've seen others.
They have seen all these other clubs win things. They've seen all the fan bases, all these fan bases, and the fans here must know fans from these clubs.
Of course.
They must be friendly and must talk to these fans from these clubs.
Yeah, of course.
So they talk to them about their experiences. And they don't want that.
Yeah,
What's wrong? Seriously, what is wrong with these people that don't want football is such a great game. It's such a buzz. I must tell you, it's funny.
But how many percentage of people are able to win trophies? That's another argument. A stupid argument I've heard. That's another stupid argument I've heard.
Certain somebody used that, and then Newcastle went on to win the League Cup, and then
no. Let me debunk that argument, okay? Because it's a very misleading percentage. It's been cleverly orchestrated to make fans feel that it's okay when it's not. It's a very, very misleading percentage, and I'll explain you why. When you say, for example, I don't know what the stat is, 95% of teams don't win trophies. 95% of teams includes every team from Man City all the way down to the lowest level of football. You cannot put Spurs in the same bucket as Doncaster, Bristol Rovers, Dagenham and Redbridge. You can't put Spurs in that category and say, because Doncaster Rovers 95% of the time don't win anything, Spurs, we put them in the same bracket. No. So Spurs have got more financial power, a bigger fan base, a much richer history. If you're going to be fair and balanced with your assessment, compare Spurs to the big six that we're a part of. And if you want to make it a bit more fairer, compare us to the top 10 teams that have all got the ability to spend in a similar fashion or approach the transfer window in a similar way. When you do that, that stat is destroyed. It's absolutely obliterated. So if you're going to say 95, 97% of teams win nothing, you're comparing us to all the shit, not just now, but throughout the history of time. It's a very misleading stat. That's like saying, only 3 or 4 teams can ever win trophies because the percentage, when you add all the other teams, makes it sound much bigger. If you just take the top 10 teams, what you'll find there is actually over the history of time, it's quite shared out, the trophies, but there's 2 standout clubs, which are Man United and Liverpool. They've won the majority, but the rest, it's a bit more balanced. So that stat is deliberately designed to protect Levy. It's a deliberately engineered stat to protect. And I've said this to Sean. I've had that chat with Sean, and I think Sean and I might have a debate lined up soon. We'll chat about it today.
How long was that going to take? For bloody sake! I've been asking for that for so long.
I'll get my
now.
popcorns out for that one.
Well, listen, it will happen, but that stat is not fair. It's a misleading stat because it's putting us in a bracket that we don't belong. That's like comparing a Ferrari.
It's just really sad.
It's like comparing Ferrari to a BMX bike.
Yeah.
Different leagues, man.
Really sad.
Compare Ferrari to Porsche, to Lamborghini, to Bugatti. That's what you do.
It's so bad, though, Stelios. It's so bad. You know what I mean? Because we'd had nothing. There was nowhere to talk about Tottenham. Then this financial statement comes out, and you see what this happens. You know what I mean? And it opened my eyes. It's rubber stabbed everything. You know what I mean? And then he comes out with that, saying, "Oh, well, we look really good. We should celebrate our spreadsheet. Celebrate that we're sustainable." And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, keep hanging. If you're supposedly Ange out, well, you just said to us, just keep hanging. Yeah? Go and just get a run-of-the-mill manager, right? And just stay in the Premier League then.
Nobody chose to support Spurs because they were impressed by the financial structure and running of the club. Nobody said, you know what, I'm going to support Spurs because, wow, look at those accounts they produce. There's not a single fan that does that.
For any club.
Yeah. Any club, yeah. Any club, yeah.
And the way he spoke to Ian at that time as well, I spoke to Ian. I said,
going on to accept failure.
And I said, and I thought Ian was just being passionate, and I just thought it was absolutely embarrassing as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? And I was got to a point, and he called your show, by the way, a echo chamber, which I thought was okay. I don't even know what to say on that when we all want to debate anybody. You know what I mean? I don't even understand that, but you know.
Well. The amount of times Iggy and I have argued. The amount of times Maz and I have argued, an echo chamber is where you always. The only thing this channel constantly does is we agree that Levy has to go.
Yeah,
I can't force Mari to change his view. I can't force Iggy, Maz, Lee. I can't force anyone to have a different view. We just all happen to be Levy out. I mean, we've had our disagreements on players. We've had our disagreements on managers. We've had our disagreements on many things. So, yeah, an echo chamber is a bit of a. It's unfair,
which is not true. It's not true.
It's not true. Yeah.
I know it's not true, but Alex, do you know what? I'm past all these.
No. Listen, I'm sorry I brought it up. You know what I mean? Because I'm supposed to be. I don't care anyway. But the point is, that I just thought the way that he spoke to Ian, that's where I had an issue.
Listen, Ian, and he can have that conversation. I want to throw a curveball at you. This man here, Pape Sarr, right? Should he have got a red card tonight? Because he got booked for the foul that prevented Spurs from getting the equaliser. And it was a foul. He did catch him on the knee. But he also dived, man. He blatantly dived in the penalty box. And that's normally a yellow card. Is Pape Sarr lucky to not have been sent off tonight?
I can't yet say yes or no because the inconsistency with these the amount of fouls we should have gotten, there was a couple yellow cards Chelsea should have gotten in that first half. It's just so like there's no I think he could have been sent off, of course. Not that it would have changed anything. We still lost the game. We still would have lost the game if he got sent off, which is maybe they would have scored the second or third. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Really, nothing really matters in that sense. But yeah, the inconsistency with these referees is just. And spoke about it in his crazy interview after the game, and that's what he went more passionate about. He didn't speak passionate about his players, the games, blah blah blah. He spoke passionately about how it took 10 minutes for the decision to get. I don't know what, but that's a thing I agree with. Like the game and yeah, all of it is it's not fluid really. And
You know what it is, Alex? Alex, not many players get booked for diving. I haven't seen many booked for diving.
I've seen that
this season.
Yeah, Biss got sent off against Luton last season for a forward, but
I said this months
Yeah, Basuma got sent off. Then he got a yellow card, 2 yellows.
No, but still, this season, you know, there's plenty of dives going on.
yeah, it's not consistent enough by the referees. There's
In your opinion, do you think Pape Sarr was lucky to stay on the pitch?
yeah,
lucky.
yeah.
He was lucky. And I'm going to say this. I've been saying this for years. And I'm saying especially this season. We have the most undisciplined, reckless team in the
Especially in extra time.
Premier
Our
League.
players lose their heads in extra time. It's always.
I think it's because the game's just crazy because the way that we play. You have to make it. We have to make it gun home. We have to go very high, octane. We have to be very octane and very high energy, and it's got to be a bit of an up and down game for us to be at our best.
Well, Romero got heated again, didn't he? Romero got heated tonight again.
Yeah,
Bentancur was lucky to not get a yellow card as well. But yeah, go on, Murray.
I must ask. Hang on, Murray. I was 7 rows from the front behind the goal. So for all the corners that were down our end, first half is right in front of me. And Chelsea had a few. And you want to see what Nicholas Jackson was getting up to. Snidey punches and what have you. I mean, it was, you want to see, did the television show any of it? I mean, the referee had to come over and pull him and Romero apart, the digging that was going on.
Yeah, no, it's just ridiculous. And this, like I said, we don't have discipline. We're a reckless club. So going to Papa Sarr, and I've said this, and people was like, Marvin, you're a hater, you're hard on our midfield. I think our midfield is the worst in like in years. Like, take me back to the days of Dembele, Eriksson, even when Dyer was in the midfield, because this team is so unintelligent and terrible. Papa Sarr, me and Will was saying this. He gives up the ball so much. People talk about his engine. He's a reckless engine. You know, if your engine, what's that piece that keeps the engine in place, right? Right? With Papa Sarr, he is that piece that's not in that car. I'm not a mechanic, and the engine is shaking because Papa Sarr. And I know you said United was interested in him when we signed him in a couple of clubs. Maybe if he went to another club, got proper coaching, a mentor, maybe his game would be better. But for me, if we were to lose Papa Sarr, I would not shed a tear because the guy is undisciplined. He's reckless. He is reckless. So I wasn't surprised that he was very high to me. He's lucky he didn't get a red. Very, very reckless, Papa Sarr. Basuma is reckless. Bergvall, one of the things I don't like about, he could be rash. I know Alex agrees with me, box office. And it's just like, is anybody coaching these guys to, yes, you can defend, but you got to be a calm defender. You got to, Papa Sarr, for me, is lucky. He's played, he didn't get the red. And for me, he is reckless. If he was to go, I would not shed a tear. There's a couple other players I would not shed a tear if they left. That's just my opinion. I think he's reckless. He has a good engine, but he's a reckless engine. He's reckless.
The thing with our midfielders is that all of them that we've signed recently have had a really, really good start to their Spurs career. They've had a really good first season. And then the season before that, they've gone to shit. Sorry, I'm not gonna say he was amazing, but he was reliable he was reliable last season. Bissouma, yeah, you could argue, but he had something about him. He had that flair in the beginning. Every single one of our midfielders has just gone back. They've gone backwards. I don't know what it is, but it's something about this club. Every single one of us.
It's the coaching. It's the players we sign. It's the tactics. It's the lack of adaptability. Jed Spence did an interview where Rio Ferdinand couldn't believe that Jed Spence wasn't given the freedom to adapt to the game if he sees it change, and he's got to stick to the plan. Whereas he said in that interview under Fergie told the players, if you see the game change to the game if you see it. This is the problem. It's all of that. Those 4 or 5 things I've listed. Of course, the midfielders have gone to shit. Of course, they're not progressing. They don't know what they're doing. No one knows what they're doing at Spurs.
This is where
Mikey Moore still doesn't come on. Mikey Moore still doesn't come on. Why is he at the club?
This is where I stopped going to games. Yeah, right. And I can't go into that stadium ever as long as this manager's in charge. It was Man United, right, when we had that long break. And I said, okay, Ange, if you learnt anything from all those times that we had 1-2 games a week, right, you should have learned. You saw the games that we did well against Manchester City, but we went back to ANGEBALL. We saw what we did against Brentford, right? And we didn't take anything from those games. So I thought, okay, if you learn, you've got a hard amount of weeks now with 2 games a week. You're going to try and implement what you've learned from what you've learned those games that we didn't do well in.
Alex, can I just jump in quickly? Just 10 seconds. I don't think that City win joyed them as much as, let's say, the United game in the Cup, where it was 7 goals instead. I think that chaotic football drives him. I think he enjoys it more. I think he wants to play that. I don't know what it is. He also always talks about it. I want to give the fans this. I want to give the fans entertainment. I think he wants to entertain himself, honestly, because if he really cared about this team, that City performance where we had a clean sheet at the goddamn Etihad. Yeah, that happened, and that he didn't try to replicate it in the game after.
That's the thing.
He spoke high. He spoke higher after the United game in the Cup, where we conceded 3 goals and almost lost it in the end. Or
I know.
It's insane. It's insane. Like,
I think that sums it up perfectly. You see what I'm saying? Because any good coach. Because this is why people look at Glasner and look at Eddie Howe. You know what I mean? Because they've learned from their mistakes and they've implemented, different ways of playing. Because they said, well, we can't carry on like this because this is not the way we're going to win. You see what I'm saying? Do you see those coaches are evolving? I don't think Ange has ever evolved. He's never evolved. You know what I mean? As a coach,
Did you hear what Eddie Howe said after he won the Carabao Cup? Did you hear the interview he did, guys?
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah.
Did you guys hear it, Alex? Murray, do you hear what he said?
I don't think I watched.
They interviewed him, right? And they said to him, you played Liverpool 3-4 weeks ago. When you played Liverpool,
I heard it.
They said to him, did you play a different tactic to not give away what you were going to do in the cup final so they could prep? And he goes, now the game's over, the final's over, I can tell you. Yeah. When we went to Anfield, we played slightly differently, so not to give them an advance warning of what we're going to do in the final. And in the final, they didn't know what to expect because we didn't show them at Anfield. Right? That's advanced thinking on tactics in preparation for the more important game and adaptability. Do any of you think Ange ever contemplates anything along those lines? Because I don't.
No, because he thinks that his way is the higher, and that's it. And the thing that's good about that thing that's so clever about Eddie Howe, he learned that through that time that he had all that time, all that time without a job. He learned that from other managers, and that's the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what's so good about him. You see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And you see these top coaches like Klopp, Guardiola. You know what I mean? It's like these coaches.
Even Poch adapted when he had to. Poch adapted when he had to.
Yeah, Poch adapted. Yeah, exactly. This is the thing, and this is why I was like, I can't watch this anymore. I can't go to the stadium anymore because I'm wasting my money. I'm getting annoyed now. I'm
I,
getting
I
really
think
annoyed.
I think Ange believes that his job is safer if he keeps on playing this football and loses, rather than if he went pragmatic and started drawing games and the fans were, because I think the fans would go, oh, you give, if this was earlier on in his tenure, I think the fans would have gone, you're giving up on your football, you're not sticking by your philosophy, blah blah blah. All this crap, in my opinion. But I knew that we weren't going to get anything out of the game today. When he was asked before the game in that pre-game interview, and or it wasn't the press conference. Yeah, the journalist asked him if he were going to try to adapt today because Chelsea have been struggling against low blocks, and he just looks this journalist in the eye, laughs, and says, "No, mate, I'm not. We're gonna go out there and give him a crack." That sort of mentality, that sort of naiveness and stubbornness, just speaks of he's been convinced by Levy. He's been put in charge of this football club to not stray away from his philosophy, to not. So from him, it's not even about winning anymore. Even though he says, "Oh, I want to turn us into a winning club. I want to bring us success." That's not what matters the most to him. What matters the most to him is what Levy has told him, and that's, you're gonna stick to this. You're not gonna shy away from your philosophy.
Alex,
No matter how rotten it gets, you're gonna stick.
I
by
don't
this.
know. I'm not
it's
sure
called
about
a
that.
vanity project. It's what it
I think
is.
that's what it is.
It's all about his ego.
An individual adapts. I mean, it's.
But can you see my point now, Alex? You can see my point now. Why I'm saying that he could be here next season. You can see my point now. I don't want to say that, but unfortunately,
He won't be here next season.
But my point is that why would Levy want to sack him? The only reason why this guy was going to go is because Pratigy would have come. Pratigy comes in and he's sitting there saying, "Sorry, mate, bye bye, out of the door. Sorry, mate, you're not my man. Sorry, bye bye."
Alex, it was Paratici that said no, Alex. Yeah. Wasn't Levy that said no. Paratici said no to Levy.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. The only way this guy goes for me is Paratici coming in and saying, "Sorry, mate, Bobby, you out the door. Sorry, mate."
No, he'll go. He'll go. He's costing Levy a fortune at the moment. It will carry on costing him a fortune.
How is he costing him a fortune, Ian?
Well, at the moment, okay. If as we expect they finish 17th, Alex, then in terms of appearance, in terms of prize money based on league appearance, that will be £37.2 million less than last season. Then you're looking at a number of home games that we won't have now, that we've had this year. So far in Europe, we don't need
Europe. We don't need Europe though.
Yeah, well, he needs Europe. He needs Europe.
Yeah, but no,
Alex. He needs Europe. They're £872 million in debt.
Okay.
He needs Europe.
We've been told that we don't need Europe. That's from somebody.
He's not getting Europe. He's not getting
Europe. So why does he need Europe? We've got concerts.
So say he loses.
Went down last year. Went down because we didn't have Europe.
But if you lose another 40 million in European in prize money plus match receipts, ticket receipts, food and drink, so you're looking at 70, 75, 80 million pound probably. That's just on the football. Then you've got.
I understand, but we don't need the money. That's what I've been told. That's what
Alex, he's not going to get the 61,000 every week if we're around the bottom of the table next season.
I think he might. I think he still might.
You know this, Ian. That's not true.
Do you think
that's not true?
Do you think Postecoglou is going to, if he's there next season?
Do you really think that, Ian?
Levy's already said about being sustainable, and there isn't going to be much money in the summer transfer window. So if you have got very few players coming in that are not going to,
you know what the fans are like.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Let me finish. You've got the same manager and the same system, and you're not backing the manager to bring the quality of player in that you need. You're not going to pay the wages anyway. We've now dropped. Last year, after the first 10 games, we were 12th. We're going to finish up 17th, 16th.
Ian,
17th.
I know how bad it is, but Ian,
that's right. So next year, Alex, it carries on getting worse.
Yeah,
if it gets worse,
Ian,
We'll be in
fine.
relegation trouble.
That's fine. That's fine saying that, but you know the fan base right now, right? They haven't turned on him, right? Okay. The fact that now people are saying the finances look sustainable, right? All he needs to do is get one player in, and then everyone's jumping up and down saying that we're the best. You know, we're going to be doing things.
Alex,
right?
we've had 2 years now.
Yeah,
I don't think it will matter as much because this summer, if you look at outgoings, you got Romero for potential 70 million euros.
Exactly.
You got Richie to Saudi for 30 million. I think he's off. He must be off. You're looking at least 100. Well, Højbjerg too, because the 20 million from Marseille is
Exactly.
coming in
Yeah.
this summer. You're looking at least 120 million in revenue from player sales this summer. I'm not saying that it's going to affect our way of spending. I think they're still going to stick to 5 kids, one Solanke type mediocre mid-table senior player, and it's going to let us down again. And
that's right, Alex. Instead of buying 3 top players, 3 established players, he'll buy 6.
Ian.
Way they bought, they got 107 million from Bale, Calderwood, and someone else in 2012, and they bought 7 players with that money.
Yeah,
7. Instead of buying 2 or 3 real top players, they bought 7. This is what they do. Yeah. The average amounts, I think, since Paratici came in, I think in fact, I worked out prior to Christmas, the squads cost Tottenham 522 million. And there was an average of something like 26, 27 million per player. Yeah. Some of those were frees. And homegrown.
Yeah.
So if you're averaging 26 million a player, what are you going to get for 26 million these days?
I hear you, Ian, but the point is, though, and thank you, Alex, for verifying what I was trying to say here, right? Is that the point I'm making is that why would he need to sack him when he's doing exactly what the fans want? Entertainment.
It's not entertaining. This isn't entertaining.
No, I know, Ian. I know it's not entertaining, but the thing is, though,
losing is never going to make up for entertainment. It's never like losing.
I know, but the point is, though, Alex. The point I'm making is, though, Alex, right? Is that there's nothing to say. There's no jeopardy to say, yeah, you need to do something right now.
Yeah.
That's the point. And you listen to Simon.
We've lost more games this season than Arsenal than on the road have for the last 3. For the last 3 seasons, we've lost more games.
Alex, you're speaking facts. Absolutely spot on. You're absolutely spot on. But unfortunately, right, this is just not on the football anymore for me. It ain't. It never was on the football for me, and it never will be on the football for me. Because when someone's making a statement like that, that says a lot to me. Saying, right, you're really going to do Ange, and then you see the person that you're debating on Sav's show saying what he was saying, gloating.
I just want to, because people don't take this into consideration most of the times. Look at the teams that are flying this season: Forest, Bournemouth. You can argue, it's a one season. It's their flight, and then next season they're going to fall down back again with Europe. But Forest this season, they signed 6 established seniors from not top leagues, but you can argue the Portugal League, and they sound talents from South America. These were senior players around the age of 25. They signed 6 of those. Bournemouth,
they signed experience, Alex.
Bournemouth signed 4 of these players. 4 of these players with proper experience from past clubs where they've played consistently. Not their first time in senior football. And then Brighton signed 5. Spurs, we went out and signed. We broke our record. We broke our transfer record. One senior who's played regularly in the Premier League, who's played regular first team football that was Solanke. The rest of them,
maybe Danzo on loan. You could say he's experienced
from leagues outside of the top 20. Not Archie, but Yang, Bergvall, all of these. How the club, like the planning is it's absolutely insane. How they've gone on and thought that with Europe, with 2 extra games a week, and a potential longer run in the cups, because last year we went out early, and that affected our schedule too. this year they must have taken into consideration that we could have gone far, that we could have progressed further. All of these factors just, we're not a football club. A football club, a serious football club predicts this.
Do you know the most experienced player we signed is the most horrendous, which is Timo Werner. We literally signed the worst experienced player. A super chat from Seven, by the way. He says, "I want my Levy back. Where's Levy, who pulls the trigger on crap managers? Please sack Ange." Guys, listen, we've been going on for 2 hours and 15. I didn't want it to go this long, but there's one last thing I do want to bring up quickly before we wrap it up, and it's this. Now, before the match, Ange Postecoglou said, if you'd adapt and be a bit more defensive in an attempt to frustrate Chelsea, he said, "Sorry to disappoint. We'll go there and have a crack and see if it'll be a good game, and hopefully we'll come out on top." So panic stations for the fan base, because when we hear that, it normally means we're going to be wide open, and balls over the top is exactly what happened. But then during the game, now, Ange Postecoglou cupped his hand to his ear and waved at the Tottenham fans after Pape Sarr scored a goal before it was disallowed. Spurs fans booed and chanted, "You don't know what you're doing," after he took Bergvall off for Sarr. So the thinking is that because fans showed their disapproval of Bergvall going off and Sarr coming on, when Sarr scored, Ange like, say something now. Yeah. But when he was questioned on this,
started sweating.
Ange Postecoglou says he was not cupping an ear to the fans to respond to substitute criticism. Instead, he claims he wanted the celebrations to be louder for Sarr's goal. And if you look at all the comments, they are ripping Ange a new one. So
no one's fine. Even Sky
I don't think anyone believes that Ange was doing that as in, "You please," because normally if you want fans to be louder, the man does this, doesn't he? Like, come on. Yeah. Guys, where are we at with this? Has he done something he shouldn't have done, and now he's thinking, "Shit, I need to backtrack on this because I know what I did"? Or is this media stirring? Is it a bit of media stirring?
And I want those people to have that same energy, because they were upset about what Conte said about the club. Oh, that was disrespectful. That was the truth. It was the truth. Now,
why didn't our fan base listen to Conte?
Oh no, I agree with you.
He was the first one. He was the first one with the balls to get up and say it as it is.
We were the only channel. We were the only channel defending Conte, man, to the end. We defended him to the end. We said, if he goes, we're fucked.
Never turned on.
Anyway, it's not. I don't.
I went on X, and even the ones who are edge in would say, "Oh, damn, this is a fireable offense." No shit. Yes, that you expect professionalism from your manager, right? He should be able to be involved in that tick and tack with the away fans, but he got involved in that, and that shows how petty he is. It shows how childish he is, and that is a fireable offense. Absolutely fireable offense. You cannot be involved with that. And then to lie, I saw that trying to cheer, dude. Who are you fooling? Who are you fooling? You did that because you wanted to call them out. You wanted to call them out and say, "See, my substitution was right. He scored."
Disgusting.
Absolutely disgusting behavior. It's a fireable offense. I know a lot of people say that he's not going to be fined tonight. He should. He should. Because if it was any other club and he went at the fans, if he went like at the AC Milan fans?
No, he wouldn't be able to get out of the stadium.
He wouldn't be able to get out the stadium. I just went to a Boca Juniors game. The Ultras, forget it. He would need Secret Service to get out of the stadium. Yeah. Absolutely disgusting. I already had my man earlier about it. I want this clown fired tonight. It was absolutely disgusting. I know Ian didn't see it, but I mean, it was absolute. If I was in that building, literally, I would be like swearing at this.
I think someone's ears were burning because we're getting a celebrity live from Toronto International Airport before he boards his flight to London. Mr. Daigle.
What's up, dude? Can you hear me?
There you go.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you, mate. We can hear you. You ready for your flight? Ready for your flight back to London?
Yeah, mate. Take off in or boarding in just over half an hour.
Beautiful.
And come back to London and start doing the Lord's work. Start doing the Lord's work, which we all need to do, which is attend this goddamn protest on Sunday, because this can't continue anymore. This just simply, from a manager, from an owner, from the whole club is rotten. It is rancid. But on a positive note, we are still in the hunt for the we only lost by 1 goal trophy. So when life gives Spurs fans lemons, we take only losing by 1 goal trophy. So there's that to be blessed about. So yeah, what a shit performance.
Listen, Brian, we've got to get everyone watching on here, as many people, seriously, as many people as possible to get down to that protest. If you know any friends who are Spurs fans, please get them down there. We need as many as we can.
Well, sorry to
Don't
disappoint
forget,
you. I ain't going to be there.
Apart from Levy out, we'll all be singing, "We've got our Daigle back."
Yeah, do you know what it's come to as well? It's all well and good to us talking about it on our shows, talking on our channels. Also, big up, Anthony. I've never streamed with you before. I've always seen you, but big up to you, brother. So I just want to say as well, I think what we've got to look at as well, we can go on the shows. I know, still, you've got Change for Spurs on tomorrow. Change for Tottenham, you've got Jay and Billy on. But I think what this comes down to tomorrow is across all social media platforms, if anyone sees anything about Change for Tottenham, protest, whatever, no matter how many times people retweet things or saying the same things, just keep retweeting, resharing on social media, because it just needs to dominate Spurs fans' timelines. They just need to scroll through and just see Change for Tottenham, Levy out, Ange out, well, whatever it is, the worldwide fan base that can share through their social media platforms have got a massive part to play, because this is just ridiculous. I mean, I was talking when we are Tottenham TV, and if you look at it, guys, just this, me and Stel and all of us can go on about how long we've been Levy out and the reasons for and where we see errors. Just this week, and we're only at Thursday, we've had Levy's pearls of bullshit statement in financials. We've lost out to Parasici, and we've had our 16th defeat of the season. That's just in 4 days. That's just 4 days of.
It's going to be a big protest. I've got that feeling. Too much has happened this week. By the way, just to jump on what Brian said, everyone, tomorrow night, 7 p.m, we are live with Billy and Jay from Change for Tottenham. So if you've got any questions, if there's anything you want to ask, jump on the show tomorrow and I'll put your questions to them rather than me trying to tell you what I think. The boys will be here tomorrow night. So jump on. Probably be going live for about an hour. If you've got any questions, coming onto the show. Brian, I wanted to ask something.
Yep.
With the protest this Sunday, do you think it'll be bigger than the last one? Because obviously you've been speaking to a lot of people. I've got a feeling it will, because I've just a lot more people in our chat here and in comments on videos I've done have said, right, this time I'm coming. And also people like Dan Hotspur Hood and others that don't normally come, they're coming. I think it's going to be bigger. Do you think it'll be bigger?
Put it this way, Stel, there are 4 people on a flight before me from Toronto, flying over to be at the protest. I'm on this one. There's more. I've been speaking to people coming from Buffalo, New York, Philadelphia, that are coming. Obviously, they're going to the Southampton game, and some of them aren't. They're just coming because they want to protest and spend time in London. You've also got to look at the last protest that Change for Tottenham did. I think there's still a case of a lot of people going, will the numbers be there? Will they be there this time? Will they come out and force? And they're like, Joe, let me stay behind and see what this one does. And you've got to look at it as well. Since that last protest, We've had all our players come back and told things will be different. Wait, it's got worse. It's got worse. The results have got worse. The way that Ange is throwing out excuses left, right, and centre. The players are just pathetic and churning out pathetic performances. Mate, we've had one win at Stamford Bridge in the entire Premier League history. I know there's hoodoos and we've got cities. This is just unacceptable. And Chelsea were there for the taking.
That wasn't a good Chelsea team tonight.
It wasn't, mate. It wasn't.
And they had the strongest team back to it.
I've got to tell you something. We're wide open as a team. They only had 5 shots on target. The whole of what 105 minutes. 5 shots only on target. That was
the first half. The first half was absolute chaos with nothing actually happening.
Correct.
I admit it right now. I ain't going to the protest, but I'll meet you lot later. I went to the last protest anyway, but I've made my own decision right now. For me personally,
why is that, Alex? What's made you decide that?
No, I just for my own sake. I've made calls just to stay away from Tottenham right now, at the moment. And I'm a better for it as far as I'm concerned. I'm just staying away from it now.
Chick King's gonna miss you, mate. Chick King's gonna miss you, Alex.
I know, but I was at the last one anyway. But I just feel like I'm so zoned out now, that I just can't be. And I think and I think it's not. I'm not going to go into that. I'm not going to go into that because that's going personal for Alex. But the point is that I will see you lot later. You know that, Brian, anyway. And Ian, you know that already. Ian, you know what I mean? You know that, Ian.
Alex, but I'm just saying.
No, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But I've been zoned out for a long time now. And big up Kruger, by the way. That's inspired me. Even a smatter from Spurs Kings TV. Please like and subscribe to their show. So that's the first time I said it. But you know, I made the decision. There was something else that I wanted to do, and then I was going to go to the other game. And then something else has come up. I thought I'd rather do that. To be honest with you, that's how I'm feeling right now. That's how I am at the moment. So I'm just going to say it out loud. People can call me a sellout, but you know what I mean. I was there last time, and I was next to Ian, shouting Levy out. I still feel the same way, but I've got to make most of my weekends now. That's me.
Alex, you take your break. We'll see you Sunday. Guys, I'm going to wrap it up because it's been 2.5 hours. We can stay backstage, have a quick chat. But I just want to say thank you to all the super chats tonight. Big up to William, Futures Bright, A-User, Sanilla, Jason, George channel member. Thanks so much. Chris in the house. A-User as always. Igor, and to Sava for all his super chats tonight. Thank you to all of you. Every chat. Thanks for being here, putting your questions, chatting away, and always showing your support for the channel and for the protest this Sunday. One more reminder, we will be going live tomorrow, 7 p.m. Come and check that one out, the protest special. And then on Sunday, probably about 10:30 p.m. after all the shenanigans, we'll be going live for the post-match show as well. There'll be no watch-along because I'll be at the protest, whatnot, with all the other guys. So, Mari, Ian, Alex, Brian, Mr. Box Office. Who else was on earlier on? Michael and Dan, I think.
Dan, yeah.
Yeah. Big up to those guys. Eugene, of course. Big up to Eugene. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll be back on tomorrow.
We got
our day back. We got our day back. All right, guys. Listen, as always,
it's time for battle.
It's all going to go off on Sunday. Guys, we'll see you later. Catch us soon. Peace.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.